here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, here on 92.3 The Fan. Headline sports news every 20 minutes here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
All the Browns and NFL news you may have missed at work. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
Tonight we're gonna take no prisoners. This time we're gonna live our dream.
The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Puts Thompson around for a moment. Now Proctor finds Mitchell. Mitchell on the run. How about that pass the ball? Here's Wade. Hey! Knocks it down. How about that ball moving by the Cavaliers?
I think we're tough enough. Personally, I think we're competitive enough. It's so multifaceted where we have to get better. But I like our toughness. I like our makeup. I like our identity. I love our leadership.
Stewart with the rejection. The ball comes to Ball. Ball tried to rifle one in the corner and hit Mobley. Back to Mitchell for three. Mitchell's got it. And he gets fouled by Javonte Green. Nice ball movement by the Cavaliers.
I mean, you want to peak at the right time. If we start out 15-0, I'm not going to be mad. But I think just it's go time. Obviously, our expectation for everybody is like, what are we going to do in the playoffs? But we got to still go out there and handle our business on the floor. So I can't really say, hey, after 10 games, we should be this. It's just like, hey, just building blocks until we get to April and then go.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Hard to the hopeless women.
Audio courtesy of FanDuel.
Wood's burning, and the Cavs will keep on working. Get behind the orange and blue with all your might. Cavs!
What?
Let's go.
What are you laughing about? What are you looking at each other for? What's the problem?
Let's go. Problem? We got NBA basketball. Big great night last night.
First off, last night was awesome. Last night was awesome. It was some of the most nostalgic stuff I've ever been through in my life. I hope it stays forever.
They did it up right.
I was 7 years old, watching the NBA on NBC all over again while my dad smoked a cigarette behind his newspaper because my dad's never been a basketball fan and never will be a basketball fan. And I'm just sitting there going, look at Michael Jordan. A spectacular move. A critical sequence from Michael Jordan. Like, oh, my God. Marv Albert. Those were good times.
I loved Marv Albert. On the floor, off the floor, whatever.
I knew. I just, I put it on the tee. This is just batting practice for you. We're working on your form now.
It was great. And then they finished it all off with free throws and double overtime.
Yeah, they did.
Hey,
that's one little fly in the ointment for NBA games.
Now, either way.
Although I saw some big pass interference calls that totally altered games in the NFL, so I guess every sport has its foibles.
Yes, they certainly do. I want to get to that at some point, either today or tomorrow, because we got opening night tonight. Cavaliers taking on the New York Knicks. It takes a little bit of a hit. Josh Hart is out. Mitchell Robinson is out.
Karl Anthony Towns questionable.
Is questionable. He hurt his quad. Hurt his quad.
Oh, wait,
Karl Anthony Towns did.
They're making it sound like Darius Garland, if they really wanted to, could have played tonight.
I don't understand that. Like, I thought he'd be out for like a month and a half, 2 months at the beginning of the season, and now I brought this up with you yesterday. Like, Kenny Atkinson and him, they said it's a good argument. It's a good fight in a good way about him playing. And I'm like, you don't have to play. Don't play. You don't have to play.
Are the Cavs trying to prove how tough they are?
I don't want him to play. Like, this is, it's going to take away what I'm going to bring up at 7 o'clock, but the hell with it right now. I don't want him to play. The reason I don't want him to play is not because of anything other than I got to use this regular season for what it is. I know you're good. Everybody knows you're good. It's a formality in so many ways. And that's annoying for guys like you and me because you're going to have regular season games against the Magic. And if you win, great, that's what you're supposed to do. If you lose, there might be some fever there. I don't want to sit there and just go, like last year was a lot of fun. 17-game win streak, the whole thing, the frog, that whole deal. That was a lot of fun. And now, because you lost in the second round, it's just, well, wake me up when April gets here and let's see if you guys are a bunch of men. And I'm going, okay, if we're going to, and that's normal. It's the NBA. Like, that's what happens. But also, if I'm going to do it like that, then I need to use the regular season for what it should be, and that's a tune-up for the postseason. And I'm telling you, man, I keep making a big damn deal about it, and I'll shut up about it. Probably won't, but I'll try. I'll shut up about it. You gotta get him in there and see whether or not the offense is going to run through Evan. This thing is not going to work. Here I am with hardcore takes about him at 6:07 on opening night. This thing is not going to work if it doesn't go through Evan. It's that simple. It can't all be on Donovan. From Utah to Cleveland, it just can't all be on him. He is a spiritual leader. He is the veteran. He's the toughest guy on the team. That's all true, and it'll still be true. But if they want to get to where they want to go, to where they are $392 million on their roster, the most expensive roster in the NBA.
The only team in the vaunted second apron.
We are the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, no, they won a championship. So we are the New York Mets right now of the NBA. Think about that. We are the New York Mets right now of the NBA. We are in the vaunted second apron. If you want to get to where you need to go, it's got to work with Evan. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. And tonight, the beginning of all this and the regular season, so I don't need I don't need Darius to play at the beginning of the year. I want that true test, and he's not going to play, and hopefully he's not going to play for a while.
Yeah, I'm obviously pumped just as a big time basketball fan, just the spillover from last night. And yeah, I knew when the dates came out for this game, I was kind of disappointed that their opener was in New York and it was against a Knicks team that I think ultimately these are probably going to be the two teams, depending on the bracket and everything, when all is said and done, if everything goes the way it's supposed to, these are the two teams at the end of the year. And I just think tonight is unfortunately going to be a throwaway in terms of the outcome because it's so early in the season. Neither team is rushing back guys to play on the court. So in essence, it's kind of like a preseason game when it comes to just go out and no stakes. Like, what are the stakes? Like, are you going to lose your mind if they lose? Are you going to pound your chest if they win?
I think we'll get a couple of callers if they lose tonight that will be upset tomorrow. I think we'll get that. But overall,
so I don't think we'll see that if Evan looks like a monster, especially no Mitchell Robinson. He's been a thorn in the Cavs side.
Yeah.
He's just made us look a little soft.
It's true.
In the past, and so that's the only thing. Like, this should be a game that Evan, especially if Karl Anthony Towns can't play either, then we've got a huge advantage. And look, we've got one sport in this town when it comes to the Browns where we're questioning, well, when are they going to get the quarterback, and do we have the right coach, and do we have the right GM, and we're not asking any of those questions with the Cavs.
No.
Like, the Cavs are just go out and watch them destroy teams. And I think there is fun in that. Like, it's not going to elicit as many arguments day in and day out about this team and how they're built. That'll come playoff time. But in the regular season, isn't it kind of fun to sit back and enjoy a team that times than not will embarrass the opponent and will be a highlight run? Look, I like basketball as it is, so I could go watch any level of basketball. I'm going to be entertained. But this is such a high level of basketball that they've been playing the last few years in the regular season. Like, why wouldn't that be something that you'd gravitate towards if you're looking for entertainment, especially when it gets cold out, when you're not going to be outside, you're not mowing the lawn, you're not doing any of those things. When the weather turns, and it was starting to turn yesterday, man, did you see those clouds? Clouds were awesome. I was taking pictures down there.
Changed.
I know. These are the things you get excited about. But that's all I'm saying is, like Owen has said a few times, kind of on the air and behind the scenes, like, what does this matter? Well, what does anything matter? But this is the team that puts a smile on your face when you go to their games and you have an awesome time. Like, we don't always get that in Cleveland, so it's nice to have.
I want to know, though, do the Cavs have the most pressure on them in the NBA? And I'm not going to ask you that question. I want you to hear somebody else on it. Somebody who has a lot of history with the Cleveland Cavaliers said with Steve Nash on the Mind the Game pod, I think you know whose voice this is going to be. He thinks the Cavaliers have a lot of pressure on them.
You think about, Milwaukee now, where they can play with Giannis and Miles now.
That's right.
Think about Cleveland, with Allen and Mobley. They have to be able to, complement one another. So
that one's under a little pressure this year, I think.
Oh, that whole
at the end, they're going to be great. Yeah. They're going to be great.
I think they're under the most pressure of any team coming into the season.
That's LeBron James with Steve Nash on the Mind the Game podcast. He says the Cavaliers have the most pressure of any team coming into the regular season. You sent that, and I go, well, doesn't his sciatic nerve have the most pressure of anybody coming into the... Okay. That's a cheap shot. We all have sciatica at some age. Thank you. Why is the reason that they do have so much pressure on them, LeBron?
Yeah, I think it's pressure from within. I think they saw the success they had last year and how well they play a great style of basketball, man. Play a great style of basketball. But I feel like if I was someone from the outside looking in, I feel like they're putting pressure on themselves to make the next jump. They're probably looking at, it could have been us versus OKC in the finals.
So I think he's right. I think that a lot of people feel that, this is a team that over the last couple of years has put an immense amount of pressure on themselves. However, I think the question is also, well, if you're going to have a lot of pressure on you, that means that everybody else has to take you very seriously as a threat to win an NBA title. Like the Bills, to me, have a lot of pressure on them because I think people would look at them and go, okay, you're the heir apparent. You got Josh Allen. I know the defense is a little scattershot, especially with the injuries. I can go on and on. I'm a football guy. That's how it goes. But I think that you think that they have a lot of pressure on them. As an outsider, I would see that. But as a person who's a Cavs fan, yeah, they got a ton of pressure on them. But I don't know if they're waking up in Milwaukee this morning or anything, and they're having these discussions after opening night and getting ready for everybody else's opening night. Are the Cavs the team that have the most pressure? I don't know if they think like that.
Well,
I really don't think they do.
It's weird because you'd ask, do they have internal pressure? When you're in the second apron, there's like no moves you can make. So this is your team. They really couldn't do a whole bunch. Their hands were tied, so they went and they took flyers on Lonzo Ball, who has never been able to be healthy, and they're hoping, well, losing Ty Jerome, would you see he's injured already in Memphis? Losing Ty Jerome is a huge blow, at least in a regular season, because there was like no drop off when Darius Garland would go to the bench or when Donovan would go to the bench. Ty Jerome would just come in and look like the best player on the floor. That's gone. Lonzo's looked great in the preseason. The odds of Lonzo being there at the end, that's what probably most would not bank on. That would be really nice to have. I'm looking at it from the perspective of every time I listen to anybody nationally, like everyone's like, yeah, Cavs are going to win the most games in the regular season in the East. And then when it comes to the playoffs, no one's scared of them. So that's the MO, or at least that's right now the perception of your Cavs until proven otherwise. And by the way, Donovan Mitchell doesn't really disagree. If you've seen anything that he said, like he's put a lot of pressure, I think, on himself. But, he's under contract, and there's no real big decision to be made with Donovan until the next year when we're talking player options and all that stuff. So will they get crushed? Will they get crushed the way that we crush, the James Harden teams, the Joel Embiid teams?
No.
If they don't get there?
Because Joel Embiid's a likable player. James Harden is not likable in so many ways.
But I'm talking about their teams. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying you're talking from an outsider perspective. I think in Cleveland, they're under a tremendous amount of pressure. Of the three teams, absolutely are under the most pressure. Because
then what happened? Why I ask that is, okay, what happens if they don't win the championship? What are they doing? There's very few moves they can make in that second apron. There's nothing you can do except run it back.
I do think, though, that it changes. Like 2 years ago, we blamed JB. I don't think we're just going to blame Kenny Atkinson, and that's going to be it if they go and they fall in the second round again of the playoffs. I think that a lot of people go, what's the roster? They're going to blame players. And this is why it's such an important regular season for Evan. You can see already, like the target will be on Evan. Like you're supposed to be the unicorn. You're not this. You're not that. You're going to cost us. It's the most expensive roster in the NBA. So that pressure goes on him. I think Donovan in so many ways is Teflon because he decided to stay. We'll see how that goes. I think Darius, obviously. But I think people are tired of ripping on Darius, at least as of now, and they're going to look at it and go, all right, Darius becomes a target because of it, but I don't know what moves you can make. Like, again, we do this whole wing, we need a wing. It's going to be the same story if it doesn't go well. Who's going to trade for a guard, their great wing, to help out our team? It's not going to happen that way. It's still the same game. At least that's what I'm seeing. So if it's still the same game, we're still going to have the same problems. So now you're stuck, and it just becomes, all right, like I think the players are going to have to deal with the heat from the fans. But I think outside of Cleveland, No, I think that everybody thinks they're a really great regular season team. I think the Cavs fans are going to be annoyed. Like, we're going to bring on Justin Termini and guys like that, and they're going to go, no, you guys are great in the regular season, whatever. And I think we're going to be annoyed. I think the team that does have the most pressure on them, easily the Knicks. Easily the Knicks. You know, they've made some strong moves. They've gotten further. Now it's time for them to put it together. I think that we're kind of, as a national story, you're going to be annoyed, but we're under the radar. As far as the big-time national stuff, and we'll have Tim Leggler on. He's the number one analyst at ESPN. I think that people are going to circle the New York Knicks. Like, maybe Houston? Maybe.
Well, yeah, Kevin Durant's not getting any younger.
Yeah, but I don't look at Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant's a great player, but it's also like he's the guy. Like, when we talked about the generations of guys, like, who are the greatest of this generation of basketball players, I think because he's done so much switching, I think a lot of people don't look at Kevin Durant the same way, even though he's still fabulous. 216-474-0092. Do you think the Cavs have the most pressure on them in the league? I think for a lot of Cavs fans, I think they say yes. But I think if you were to go anywhere else that's a basketball city in this country, I think they would probably look at somebody else. And they don't take us as seriously as we would want to be taken. And maybe that's a good thing for a lot of Cavs fans. 216-474-0092. I want to ask you guys that question. And I'm glad they were nice to him. It still doesn't help me. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work in the absolutely positively free Odyssey app. And then when you get there, watch us on YouTube Live when Tim Leggler joins us at 8:20 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Floor.
True Rewards app from True North Stores. Join today and save 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up and save 5 cents every day. Get member-only offers and stackable fuel savings in the palm of your hand. Find it in your app store. True North Stores and True Rewards. Fast, friendly, clean.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Do the Cavs have the most pressure on them in the league? And I'm glad the Browns were nice to him. They don't help me. Certainly don't help Kevin. 216-474-0092. Let me get to the Cavs question first. Do you think the Cavs have the most pressure on them?
I just can't say that it feels like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe part of it's because they've just run back their team, and now they're kind of limited to the moves they can make. So it's like pressure means if it doesn't happen, oh boy. And I'm like, what happens? They'll just continue to bank on Evan Mobley getting better, which he might. I mean, that's the expectation, right? I mean, his trainer says he's going to be a top player in the league, like not like a top 10 player. Like he will be the number one guy in the league, according to his trainer. And I keep hearing more and more of that. And so it's been 5 years of hearing that. That's maybe I'd argue maybe there's a little more pressure on Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a lot of pressure on him, but yeah. 216-474-0092. I totally agree with you. I think from a league perspective, and again, I want to ask everybody the first thing I asked Tim Leggler coming up at 8:20 this morning from ESPN. He's their number one guy. Like, do you, as an insider but an outsider, do you think the Cavs have the most pressure on them? And I think a lot of people would pick at least the Knicks before them. I think the Cavs are probably up there because, again, you look at the roster and you have to be able to pick them. I mean, they have to be up there, the expectations for them. But, you know, I think that Oklahoma City to repeat would probably have more pressure. Houston, because they got Kevin Durant, would probably have more pressure. The Knicks, to me, are number one as the team that has the most pressure. Cavaliers probably fourth, fifth on that list.
Don't you think the Lakers have more pressure than the Cavs?
You know, I thought about them. They were a name
because of the Luka thing.
Yeah, they were a name that came to my mind, but I don't know where they're at because I got LeBron not starting a game in the regular season, the opening night for the first time in 23 years. They got Luka, but I think they're in a transition mode right now. And I don't know how much longer this is going to be. Like, I do believe that LeBron will do a retirement tour. So that puts him to next year, right?
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
So if he does that, they're still in this weird mode. It's the Lakers. There is pressure on them. But when I get to, like, real basketball, you got to win pressure. I don't see them up there. I thought of them, Owen, because they're the Lakers and
So
they got
it's
LeBron.
like 1996, 97 Lakers all over again.
Well, it's weird because them and the Warriors are going to get talked a ton as if they're the two best teams in the league, but nobody thinks they are. And so, their players aren't getting any younger, obviously.
Yeah, but they got the superstars, right?
Yeah.
To outdo OKC if it came down to crunch time.
In the old NBA, yeah. In this NBA, I don't think just having a couple superstars matters nearly as much. The league is like totally changed to where it's all about now having, 8 different guys that are all. You saw it against Indiana last year. Like, we had the stars in the series, supposedly. Of course, Halliburton played like a star.
Sorry, I was taking a sip of coffee. I thought I meant
OKC does have Lou Dort, right? Do they still have him?
You sent me down a rabbit hole real quick. I was thinking like early Del Harris Lakers. And then I go, is Del Harris still alive, ladies and gentlemen? Del Harris still with us.
Yeah.
Age 88. 216-474-0092. So the more you know. Tony in Mansfield. Tony, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are we doing?
We're doing wonderful, Tony. Go right on ahead.
Yeah, so 2 things. As far as your question goes, I don't see much pressure on the Cavs in the regular season. I mean, at least I don't feel that way until really we get towards the end of the season when playoffs kick off. Team agrees, but really I see the pressure on Evan Mobley, and that goes to my second thing as far as especially the first quarter of the regular season is I want to see this offense really run through Evan Mobley for the first time. Not saying that we have to force the ball through Evan Mobley or our offense through Evan Mobley because you want to take what's there.
Yes.
But I just want to see Evan Mobley be that centerpiece and that more dominant individual that the offense can run through.
Yeah.
And kind of for him to, and we've talked about it year after year, really see him make that dominant jump to where the offense can run through him. And that's kind of what I'm looking for, especially the first quarter of the year. But as far as pressure goes, I don't really feel it. It's refreshing because, coming into this, I know we deal with the Browns, but to deal with the Cavs now, it's kind of, you can get nitty-gritty with them because we know that they're going to be good through the season. So it's like, what do we want to nitpick about and hopefully see them improve on their offense with Evan Mobley?
Tony, I think you're right about it, and thank you very much for the call. I think a lot of Cavs fans, I do think, I should take back it a little bit. I think that probably Darius Garland will be a lightning rod for controversy for a lot of fans. He's always been.
He will, for sure.
But I also think that Evan Mobley would probably be number one in terms of what are we doing with you? Are you going to be the type of player that we thought you were going to be, or are you just going to be a nice big man, and that's going to be the end of it?
Although nobody's going to want to get rid of Evan Mobley.
No.
But Darius, they will. If Darius this year is either unhealthy or plays in the playoffs, but it's been kind of like what it's looked like when he's played in the playoffs, which is a very lesser version of Darius, who's been an all-star, who's been, the first half of the season last year, he looked like all-NBA. If he's not that, fans, he'll be the one people will want to move on from. Jared Allen's already been in that category, but he's not the we say core four, but there's three guys. And that's why I would say pressure-wise is probably on Darius.
More on the Cavs regular season coming up at 7:01 this morning. Yesterday, Albert Breer was on with Afternoon Drive. Albert Breer from Monday Morning Quarterback, the whole thing. He's fantastic. However, I'm glad the Browns are really nice people. It doesn't seem to help my situation out. Here is Albert Breer on Joe Flacco and the inside dealings of the trade.
It really wasn't on his radar, at least, according to what he told me. The Browns didn't initiate the talks with the Bengals. One of the reasons they liked Flacco among the group was because he had so much experience in a predominantly drop-back game, right? He played that game before, and that's what the Bengals do with Burrow, so it caused the least disruption to their offense. That would be the easiest thing for Jamar Chase, for Andre Davis, for T. Higgins, for all those guys. The easiest translation would be Joe Flacco. So the Bengals have that interest, and they express that interest to the Browns, and then the Browns present it to Flacco and say, hey, is this something that you would personally be interested in? He said he liked the idea of it, and obviously the rest is history. I thought just as interesting, I did ask Joe, too. I'm like, would this have been the same answer regardless? If any other team were giving you the opportunity to start, did you just want to play? And he was kind of coy on that, where he said, I'm not sure I can really answer that. I don't know, which I think kind of illustrates how special that opportunity was to go and play with Chase and Higgins.
I'm glad they offered him the opportunity to go start somewhere else. Am I insane? Maybe I am. Am I the only... is everybody else playing a ruse on me that they signed Myles Garrett to a long-term contract and they still have an expensive roster and they only have, $10 million in cap space, so you're kind of expected to take a swing at winning, and they just, okay, well, we're going to let Joe go, but we're going to give him an opportunity to go start, against one of your own divisional opponents? And have all the fans mad at you the next week because he goes out and he beats the Steelers? It's calmed down a little bit because of the Dolphins win.
So what are you saying, though?
It doesn't help me. Why does, I know the Bengals called for Joe, and you have to keep everything in mind. Everything is considered. But it's if they are soft pedaling everything as much as they say they are. See, my problem is I'm getting two different messages every day. Were they trying to win, or were they trying to put in Dylan Gabriel? I almost said Darius Garland. That'd be a hell of a time for everybody.
Darius is actually towers over Dylan Gabriel.
7 inches taller.
It's actually true. He would actually be a tall quarterback. What a sport. So, were they just trying to put in Dylan Gabriel and then they were going to put in Shedeur Sanders? Is that how this was all going to work? Were they just
honestly, probably.
Then why are you signing Myles Garrett to long-term contracts?
Unless Joe was great. Unless Joe was able to overcome their deficiencies on the offensive line. Unless he was able to overcome the lack of wide receiver talent.
But still, I know that there is a big, big chasm between what the media and fans feel about their backup quarterback right now, and clearly what the NFL teams feel about their backup quarterback right now. Why would you not keep that veteran? Don't give me Bailey Zappi garbage either. Why would you not keep that veteran as a safety net? Why would you not do it? If you wanted to start Dylan Gabriel, hey, Joe wasn't seeing the field. I'm not going to do revisionist history. He wasn't seeing it. There were guys that were schemed open. You saw it. You guys can watch the All-22 with the NFL Plus. You guys know what you got. He wasn't seeing it. So if you wanted to put in Donovan Mitchell, if you wanted to put in Dylan Gabriel, okay, let's see what we have with Dylan Gabriel. But if Dylan were to falter, are they ready on November 9th to just go right to Shedeur Sanders? Are they ready at certain times to just go to Shedeur? Because that's who's going to play next. And I hate the thought of, well, who cares? We're just going to lose anyway. No, we got lives at stake here. We got jobs at stake here. We have futures at stake here.
Maybe they don't feel that way.
You have to think about the people that are in your football organization.
I mean, maybe Kevin and Andrew really don't feel that way at all. That they've never.
That if Kevin doesn't feel that way, as far as what? As far as taking care of his players?
You said jobs are at stake.
I'm thinking about players. I'm thinking about what they're trying to do. I'm thinking about what you're trying to keep people motivated. If they're not afraid of their jobs being lost, hey, that's good for them. It's not even about saving your job. It's about getting your locker room together. It's about not having your cornerstone of your franchise call you out on Fridays. It's about that. That's what it's about. And here you are. You've made these decisions, and then you let go of Joe. Okay, 5th-round pick, whatever. And maybe Joe's going to cool off here, and it's not like, man, we need, because again, I know what I did, but at least you had that safety net.
But what do you mean? What is
you
this
don't
change?
have it.
What does this change for you? I'm having trouble understanding what this revelation that they came to Joe with a trade.
It's not a revelation. It's not a revelation. I'm just saying it still doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter to me. Like when we say like, oh, they were good to him. Like last week we saw.
Oh, you don't like that they're getting credit for going to him as a professional.
It doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. It's not that I don't like it. It doesn't matter. I don't care that they were nice to him because I don't have the player.
Oh, you think it's a non-story?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he goes down there and they end up like doing something incredible and you just go suck up the room, think about how you felt before the Dolphins game. The lineup of people we had to call in to cuss out the Browns before the Dolphins game on Friday morning. Well, at least the Browns were nice to Joe while your team's bad. While your team loses and they've lost a couple of games in embarrassing fashion, that makes my situation any better. And by the way, when we talk about the college quarterbacks, is there any one guy that anybody's 100% sold on? Absolutely not. So at least you're not giving me the argument of going, hey, we let Joe go. We don't have a safety net, Ken, but who cares? We're going to be able to get so-and-so. Like, there's no conversation there. So what was the point of any of that? Mm-hmm. Why not help out your football team? A 5th-round pick's a 5th-round pick. He better turn into a good football player for you then.
Well, is there a chance
somebody else might make that decision?
Is there a chance they just thought the operative term has been washed? Did they think that by what they saw in the first? A lot of fans did. A lot of hosts did.
There's very well that possibility.
I thought he was better. I thought he was better than the results had been, but the results were the results.
And one great game against Pittsburgh doesn't automatically change that. I understand it, but it doesn't. But to me, the story of they were really nice to him and they went to him and asked him if he would like this opportunity to go play again, and he said yes. Okay, nice. I don't have the player now. I don't have a safety net because maybe Shedeur, and this isn't the best case of him, maybe Dylan isn't ready to be a multi-game starter because I do think he's a career backup. Maybe Dylan needed to catch his breath. Maybe Joe needs to go back in there. Maybe the guy behind him, Shedeur, isn't ready yet because it's not going to do me any good just to throw him out here. Like when people sit there and say, we got to see this, we got to see that. No, we don't. If they're not ready to do it, we don't need to see these guys. And Joe could have been that safety net. So it doesn't matter to me that they were nice to him.
But there were a lot of people that didn't care that they traded him. And then a week later when they saw him against Pittsburgh said, why did we trade him? So
but I'm not one of those people.
All it took was a little more evidence on video.
But I'm not one of those people. The only thing that you could probably draw a conclusion with is that what didn't Kevin do that Zach Taylor did, or what didn't Andrew Berry do in terms of weapons that the Cincinnati Bengals were able to do. 216-474-0092. That, and I was told to do my job yesterday.
Anthony Lima, 4 Diamonds to
first ever Bachelor of Applied Science degree in Integrated Digital Manufacturing. Learn more at tri-c.edu/engineering.
When you want the latest on the Cavs, we're the station you turn to first. 92.3 The Fan is Cleveland's home for breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
This morning, Tim Leggler going to join us, ESPN. Just real quick before we play this audio, do you think it's a non-story, or do you think I'm getting worked up for no reason? No, I'm not trying to get worked up, and you think I'm questioning that? Yeah.
No, because I was listening to you talk, and in the end, my takeaway from everything you said was, non-story that the NFL team went to the player and asked whether they could do something they were probably going to do anyway. Right?
Yeah.
They're going to trade Joe Flacco if they're going to get what if Cincinnati upped it to a third rounder, they'd go, well, Joe vetoed the trade. They were going to trade. They're going to trade him. Like that has nothing. That's inconsequential, I think. So maybe the story comes out to make them look good. I think the bigger question I had after listening to you is, do you feel like they were punting on the season the minute they traded Joe, regardless of how he played?
Yeah, but I think some people could say they were punting on the season
the minute they brought out Joe Flacco.
I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like this is my problem with the whole development versus winning thing. And I'm going, guys, you don't need to have an either or. I cannot stand the whole, development's more important than winning. I don't know, man. Again, all these teams that just seem to win every single year, they seem to develop all these players that you want. How does that happen? All these winning organizations develop all these players that we all want. And then, by the way, they develop them to look good enough around their players that we want them, and then we end up getting hoodwinked. Juan Thornhill. We end up like that happens. It's amazing to me. We don't need to have an either or.
Although finally we got a Devin Bush. Maybe this is one of those things that
that's fair.
He didn't work out in Pittsburgh and he's working here. That never has happened in the past.
Not Juan Thornhill, but Devin Bush. That's good. That's fine. That's good. That's a great point. I was told to do my job yesterday. Okay. Well, tell me how to do my job, Nick Wilson.
We cannot lower the bar. I think it's fair.
Wait,
if we do this, by the way, if we do this with Shador, I am lockstep with you. 5th round pick. You're going to go to him week 12 when maybe the team has given up. Totally makes sense. This dude's starting in the meat of the season with the expectation to be competitive. He was not competitive yesterday. Quinshawn, competitive. The defense, competitive. Hell, I thought the offensive line looked like they might actually
he missed
not
5 passes and didn't turn the ball over. That's all you're asked to do in that role.
5 passes out of 18.
That's all you're asked to do in that role. You're asked to do. That's all you're asked to do in that. This is the difference here.
You're asked to put points on the board when points are on the field.
You're asking Dylan Gabriel to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I'm not. That's the difference.
By not missing a wide open Quinshawn Judkins?
Ken's right. Arguing over Dylan Gabriel is the dumbest thing we could ever do in this.
No. He's
right. Arguing over Dylan Gabriel might be the dumbest thing we ever do.
No, it's your job, Ken. Oh, that sounded personal.
Geez,
I did not like that.
That came off really hard.
Ken, I will retract that immediately. Ooh. Actually, I'm going to reverse my retraction. That's your job, Ken.
I love it. I absolutely love it. He was mad. He wasn't mad at me though. He was mad at Jonathan. He took his anger out on Jonathan on me, and I am perfectly fine with that. That's fantastic because I like to know that my opinion is held that high.
In high esteem.
Of which one I agree with. That Ken takes my side. No, Ken took my side. I think it goes the same with you.
They're waiting for the football guy to weigh in.
I feel like the Werther's grandfather. That's amazing. Because, I think that in so many ways, guys, I'll have a knockdown drag out with you or Nick or Jonathan any day because, again, we're all friends, and one of the best things that we have ever found out about each other is as long as we all know we talk bleep about each other behind each other's backs, it's all cool.
It's your job, Ken.
One of the most freeing things in radio is that it's like, hey, we all have problems with each other. Let's just accept it and move on. And I love them, and I love the argument with you. But am I gonna cost myself friends and people that we've met through listening and go, no, kiss my over Dylan Gabriel? And guys, in the whole Dylan Gabriel conversation, let me get this right. Have I ever once said to start the other guy over Dylan Gabriel yet? Never. It's never happened. Because I want people to know I'm being as honest and pragmatic as possible. He is a career backup until they force my eyes to be open. And I think so many people don't want to see or argue about the other guy. They don't want to see the other guy play for him. So they make Dillon Gabriel into something he's not. He is not a franchise quarterback. There's nothing that's told you over these 3 games with Dillon Gabriel that he's a franchise quarterback. And if you think that, you're lying to yourself. You need to go and watch real franchise quarterbacks and get back. You know what? Go watch Baker. That's a franchise quarterback. Go watch him and tell me that Dillon Gabriel does anything that Baker does. Baker was number 1 overall. This guy's a 3rd-round pick. It's not being mean to Dillon Gabriel. It's being honest. I'm being honest when I say he could have a 10-year career as a backup in this league. He could be a coach in this league. That's an honest assessment. That's a respectful thing to do. But as far as I will argue with you because I love it and I'm addicted to it. But when it comes to everybody else, guys, doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to have a great big slamming doors fight with strangers who are Browns fans when we all just want the same thing over Dillon Gabriel. I'll save that emotion for any one of the guys who are playing on Saturday right now.
Will you save it for Shedeur?
We'll see. We'll see. But I know what I've seen out of Dillon Gabriel. I know what I expected out of Dillon Gabriel. I'm getting what I expected out of Dillon Gabriel. There's no reason for me to raise my voice at anybody else who's not employed on the Fan. That is not including Jonathan and Nick. I don't think Jake Volnick and I have ever said a crossword with one another. Certainly you and I have. And Daryl and I and you have gone round and around and around before. But no, I don't need to sit there and have a great big fight over Dillon Gabriel. But I do like that Nick got hot. I do like that him and Jonathan got hot. I love that I caught part of that too. It excites me. It gets my blood flowing. Are you a little jealous that you didn't get mentioned in that?
No, I enjoy any time Ken gets picked apart and some of the true feelings
picked apart a lot, though.
Come out.
I get picked apart a lot because I'm the bad boy.
I knew as his voice was going in that direction, I knew he was going.
You knew I had to do it. Check my ass out. 8:20 this morning. Tim Leggler going to join us on the show. Do the Cavs have the most pressure on them in all the league? We will go around the AFC North. Usually we go around the AFC North around that time, around 8 o'clock. We're going to go at 9 o'clock. We'll go around the AFC North. Folks, Ravens players are accusing Todd Monken of not putting the offense in a position to succeed. We will ask Ken Wyman about that. And, of course, Andrew Filipponi is going to join us during that segment, and we'll ask him whether or not he's going to actually get his nipples pierced, because that's, you want to talk about clown shows, yeah, we're going to welcome Bozo into the show at 9 o'clock. Coming up in 5 minutes, the regular season is probably a formality after tonight. That's on them to change that, not on you. And I think the new way has become the very old way of thinking in the NFL. That's at 7:10 on the Fan. Peter and Company Jewelers in Avon.
Now, is he a guy that's going to put the team on his back and take him to wins already as a rookie? No, but I don't know. He looks more comfortable than Cam Ward. I would argue Dylan Gabriel's given the Browns a better chance to win a lot of these games than Cam Ward's given the Titans. I definitely want to give Gabriel at least this month. Let's see where they are after that. Let's see where he is after that.
Catch Odyssey NFL insider Ross Tucker on Afternoon Drive every Wednesday at 4. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
This is such a high level of basketball that they've been playing the last few years in the regular season. Like, why wouldn't that be something that you'd gravitate towards if you're looking for entertainment, especially when it gets cold out, when you're not going to be outside, you're not mowing the lawn, you're not doing any of those things. When the weather turns, and it was starting to turn yesterday, man, you see those clouds? Clouds were awesome. I was taking pictures down there.
Changed.
I know. These are the things you get excited about.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Cavs basketball tonight. We have Cavs home opener tickets to give away at 9 o'clock. Lima's got a picture of Mace looking over Lake Erie with the clouds rolling in.
The seasons are changing.
Are you going to teach him about the gales of November come early? Even though technically it wasn't in Lake Erie? We saw the picture of Mace.
The other one I like better.
His
the
hair's
side profile.
His hair's come in real well.
It's coming in.
Yeah.
He went to Vanskoy.
That little baby Vanskoy.
He went to Turkey. Went to Turkey, got the surgery.
You tell me your son did and LeBron still hasn't?
I just think his didn't heal properly. He rushed the process.
Okay. Yeah. Someone else we know. All right. Welcome back. Cavaliers. The openers
Nothing
tonight.
says opener like, hey, did you see the clouds?
The
regular season matters around these parts.
It defines the changing of the seasons, the changing of the sports. I know the Browns aren't trying to go anywhere yet. They go down to New England on Sunday. Maybe we'll have different discussions. Clouds were awesome. I couldn't stop looking.
Oh, boy.
Enchanting.
This is what's happened to you. I'm glad. All right, Cavaliers play tonight. It's the opening night. It's a weird night because you can't get that worked up about it because they don't have Mitchell Robinson on the other side. They want to have Josh Hart on the other side.
Both teams easing their way into the season.
Karl Anthony Towns. It's like they're both getting into a hot tub.
What do you mean can't get that worked up? If we win, we're going to blow it out.
Yeah, we'll go nuts.
Are
we'll
we?
have fun.
Yes.
We
We'll
will?
have fun tomorrow.
Yes, I've met you, Ken. You've met you.
I've met me. I'm an
that's
excitable
what you
boy.
do, Ken.
All right, you know what? Just out of spite now, I'm not going to make a big deal tomorrow.
No,
How
it's
you
your
like that?
job, Ken.
Here we go.
It is your job, Ken.
It kind of is my job to get excited in so many ways because other idiots could not be excited about it. I mean, you could deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. So welcome to it. Let me tell you this, Tone. Let me tell you this. I think that, and by the way, we got a couple of responses about what was going on. When we asked about the pressure, because LeBron had said the Cavs have the most pressure on him in the NBA. Tim Leggler is going to join us at 8:20 this morning. We're going to ask him that. And when we got a couple of responses, even our boss chimed in and is like, well, you guys say you don't have pressure today, but we'll see what happens in May. I go, well, wait a minute. There is a difference. I think nationally, and maybe he thought nationally, I don't know. I didn't read the whole thing, so maybe he meant nationally too. I think locally, yeah, the Cavs have a ton of pressure on them. I think from Cavs fans, ton of pressure. However, I think with a lot of national people, no, I think they're down the list. I think they're not. I think they're down the list. I think the Knicks have the most, and I think a couple other teams have more pressure than the Cavs. And you could take that as a disrespect, and you probably should take it as a disrespect. They do not think that you are a postseason team. They think you're soft. I think Cavs fans are questioning whether or not you're soft.
That was the biggest conversation we had when they were eliminated.
So I think that for so many people on the outside who are NBA people, they just put you in this like great regular season team. We'll see. The comparisons to the mid-2000s, or I should say the mid-teens, thousands Hawks is there, and right now it's apt. It's up to them to change it. I think that the regular season matters for us because we talk about it so much, but I think for a lot of Cavs fans, though, I think it's a formality. I think tonight's a big deal. The home opener will be a big deal. Again, we're giving away tickets to it coming up at 9 o'clock, Cavs home opener tickets. You can win a pair. But I think for a lot of fans, like tomorrow, there might be some discussion about the opening night. And then after that, that'll be it for a lot of fans. And I say that regrettably because I don't want to sit there and talk about what Dylan Gabriel had for breakfast. Hand to God, guys. Swear to God. But I think for a lot of fans, it's like, hey, we've been through this 2 years now where the regular season was a lot of fun. And it's not like you won't have fun if they rip off a 12-game winning streak or anything like that. But I think that so many people now have it in the back of their head, yeah, this is great, but. And I think it's going to annoy you. I think you're going to be really annoyed.
I think it would annoy me.
I don't blame the Cavs fans. I blame the Cavs if I'm blaming quote unquote anybody.
I think what would annoy me is if for some reason a team that has a chance to win 55, 60, we'll see if they have their pedal, if they have their foot on the pedal, throughout the season when so many teams, especially if they have, the top 2 seeds in the East kind of locked up. I would think I'd be annoyed if fans are like, it's a tune-out. I'm not even bothering. Wake me up when the playoffs start. That would annoy me.
You're going to get that, and so you're going to be annoyed. I guarantee that's going to happen.
That would be weird because in February, what are people into? Like if you've been into basketball previously, and when LeBron was here, you were excited about it, and now you're not. That would surprise me. The ratings have not shown that. The ratings have been huge for the Cavs. They have been one of the markets that have gone the other way. While a lot of NBA ratings are going down, there have been attendance figures that have gone down around the league. That has not been the case in Cleveland.
No.
Like, this has been one of the premier basketball cities. And really, since LeBron came into the league, this has been one of the premier basketball cities.
You're right.
So if all of a sudden people are like, because they haven't won in the playoffs, I'm not really going to watch in the regular season. That would surprise me. That would probably annoy me. But I don't think that'll be the case. I do think people might say they're not as invested into the wins and losses, but that place will still be packed. That still will be one of the loudest gyms in the league. And the local TV ratings, I think, will continue to go up.
Are there Cavs truthers? Are there people out there who think that this team would be much better without Darius Garland? Are there people who think that Evan Mobley is overrated by me? Do they think that? Because I think those people will be loud if you play the Magic and lose. I think they'll be loud if you play Boston and lose, a couple other teams in the East and lose. I think those people will chime in and tell you I told you so. Like we've had, and they've gotten quieter, maybe because they don't care as much, but we've had some people who are like, Kenny, I don't know what you're seeing in this Evan Mobley kid. I don't know what you're seeing. The Darius Garland stuff, boy, we've been through it with Darius Garland the whole time. I think it's an important thing. Because of Darius Garland being out, it provides an opportunity for Evan Mobley to have the offense run through him. But I've said that a bunch of times already. I think it's a big opportunity to get yourself ready for the postseason. But I just don't think a lot of regular season fans are going to care as much as you do. And I think you're going to be frustrated. I'd love to be proven wrong. 216-474-0092. I think a lot of people, though, are looking at this regular season as a formality. But I don't blame them. I got to look at the last 2 years. They got your hopes up last year significantly. 64 wins is a big deal. They got your hopes up. They faltered in the second round of the playoffs. To Indiana, who's a team that really, if you were watching the regular season, they were, 5-0 altogether by the end of the year, including the playoffs in Cleveland. They played well in Cleveland.
But they were so unimpressive.
They played you toughly. They played you tough. And you could say, toughly is not a word. They can play you. They played you tough, and they beat you a bunch. And you knew it was going to be a rough matchup to where, who was it that we had on? Was it Brad Doherty who kind of beat around the bush with us because he didn't really want to tell us the bad news?
Yeah.
What he thought when he saw Indiana? Like, no offense to Brad, but he definitely was like, yeah, like hemming and hawing. And like, I turned the mic off. This is before we had YouTube. I can't do that anymore. And I looked at Lima, I go, I think he's trying to do it in a nice way that he's giving us bad news. Like, this is going to be really, really difficult for us. And it became difficult. We lost. You lose to a team like that.
I mean, they only won 50 games last year. And we won how many?
And they were a finals
64.
team. Don't get me wrong.
Holy cow.
They were a finals team. But when you win 64 and you lose to a team that won 50 and they were getting ready, and they had a bunch of injuries at the beginning of the season, but they were getting ready for the postseason, I think the general Cavs fan is like, yeah, I don't care about the regular season. I don't care. And it's probably going to be that way for this year and next year, because if you falter...
Well, but wait, when you say they don't care, I can understand if you don't care if they win 64 games versus 55. Like, that's not going to be like, especially if Evan Mobley looks amazing.
Yeah.
But they're load managing and whatever. I agree with you. I don't think fans would care. But are you telling me that, like, hey, Cavs are on, they're playing Milwaukee.
No, they'll put them on. I'm not
watching.
They will put them on. Ratings are good. They'll be on. They're just not going to be as invested. It's going to be pro basketball. It's the Cavs. So sports fans listening to us are going to put on pro basketball and put on the Cavs. But I think overall, like, you and me, and people would be surprised by this because we make a big bit out of the whole football guy thing. I enjoy putting on a game in the background that's not Cavaliers. I mean, if the Cavs are playing, I'm going to watch Cavs. But like on a Friday night, or like ESPN has a Saturday night NBA after college football season's done, yeah, I'll put on New York and Boston and just have it on in the background while I'm writing things down or something like that after Liz has gone to bed or something. Like, I'll do that. I think a lot of people will treat the Cavs like that. It's on in the background. They'll keep an eye on it. They expect us to be up. At the end, if we're not, maybe they'll be more invested, but I just think it's kind of like look over from the kitchen to the living room to see what it is and kind of keep an eye on it here and there, and it's something on in the background. I think it was appointment viewing the last couple of years. But when you lose in the postseason the way you did, and your favorite team's being called soft, which is the worst thing. Anybody could have their favorite team being called. I don't care if there was a team in Bermuda. If they're called soft, the fans are going to hate it. So, and especially a Midwest city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that one cuts to the core.
You got to answer a lot of questions if you're the Cavs. And I'm not blaming Cavs fans for doing any of the things I just said. I ain't blaming you. It's on them. Because even, I'll tell you what, it's twofold, because this is just the way the NBA is set up. If you go and you fail again this postseason, it's going to be the same way next regular season, because there's not a lot of moves you can make. If you go and you even win, it will be certainly a fever to start the season. But I think it will probably do the same thing during the regular season next year, because then the regular season really doesn't matter for a lot of folks. 216-474-0092. I'd love for you to tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. We got Tim Leggler at 820. I want to know if he's going to tell me I'm wrong. And I think the new way has become the very old way of thinking in the NFL. And I have a very old man. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. If he's hearing it, hopefully he won't. I have a very old man who gave me that example yesterday during the show, or during the midday show. That's coming up as I get nervous even saying this, and I can't take any of the words back, and that's coming up at 7:22 on the Fan.
No, it's your job, Ken.
Anthony Lima for Fanatics Sportsbook. Ever wonder
on the practice field this afternoon. Get ready for Sunday's game in New England, taking on the Patriots. Hope to have an update on the status of tight end David Njoku, who missed Sunday's win against the Dolphins because of a sore knee. Coming up before practice, we will hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski, 10:55 this morning, live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
9 o'clock, we'll go around the AFC North. Andrew Filipponi is going to join us. We'll talk about his nipples. Great. Idiot. That's what happens. You invite clowns, as I once said about Hugh Jackson when we were going after each other, you have enough clowns in your building, people are going to call it a circus. And we're inviting Bozo right on in at 9 o'clock when we go around the AFC North. You can use that if you want to someday, Tone.
I like that.
It's a good line by me, I know. Thank you. I'm going to get to this Phelps audio here in just a second. There's another backup, huge backup, I-90 at Hilliard. Is it Hilliard?
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
That's where it starts, but it's going all the way back now.
So you guys come in on 90 West.
Yes.
Or 90 East.
Early, thank goodness.
But you guys come in early, and you guys, like, I'm coming in from Streetsboro, so it's obviously totally different. You guys are like having this like club that you guys have kind of gone off and talked about this, and I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. This is a long construction project that we're going to see this type of backup every single day, you're telling me?
Till 2028. And part of the problem, they needed to fix it.
There was most of a damn dome up by then.
Yeah, every time there's a little bit of rain over the last however many years on I-90 on the west side, there's hydroplaning. Mm-hmm. So they needed to fix that, among other things. So it's a massive project, and it was needed, right? But I don't know anything about construction or roads or any of that. There's a lot that goes into this, obviously. But what I can't understand is why they have the area for the work vehicles to fly on through, in the middle, which makes sense.
Well, yeah.
But I question why they needed to put up the Jersey barriers literally on the line, like it's an impenetrable force field.
What's a Jersey barrier?
So those I don't know any other
big concrete barrier.
So if you drift a little bit to the left, you will run into them, and then you will get into an accident. And that just doesn't seem very likely.
Are they the big plastic ones?
No, these are concrete.
No, that 6,000 cars a day that go through there can avoid that. It seems like improbable. Especially, let's be honest, everybody's on their phones. The delivery drivers are all...
This was our bumper car scenario from
there you go. Then get off the phone.
But the delivery drivers can't get off their phone. They're looking at monitors consistently. That's their whole job. That's their whole business.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be... But you got to... If you know it so many times, you're going to have to... You have to be careful through there. Aren't you?
Well, you're white knuckling.
Don't you?
And I had a bunch of people tweet at me yesterday, like, you are white knuckling, and if a semi drifts a little bit into your lane, you're done. You've got nowhere to go.
I know so many people that live out near us that work downtown and had to have changed. They take the Shoreway in now, and that adds 20 minutes to your commute.
Least.
But you could get through in a reasonable time on I-90, or you could be in an hour and a half late. Who knows? Pick your poison.
More time to listen to us on the absolutely positively free Odyssey app or on your regular radio. I don't want you watching us on YouTube while you're driving.
Well, if you're at a standstill, pop YouTube up.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then start looking at your screen again and then cause another accident.
Don't look at the screens. Don't turn on the YouTube while you're driving.
So I had some people tweet like, my God, Cleveland, you're acting like traffic is a big deal because it happens once a month.
Oh,
when it's every day in Chicago, it's every day in Miami, it's every day in Phoenix,
then
it's
move
every day
here.
in California.
Then move here. If it's if you guys want to sit there and thumb your nose, then just move here and our traffic will be less bad or more bad, whatever. If that's the way,
but not bad.
No, we don't allow that on the show. 216-474-0090. Well, I hope you guys are going to be. Here we go. Czar's on the road. Hello, Czar.
What's going on, guys?
Hi.
All right, yeah, I live in Fairview Park. Every morning to work, 90 East. Yesterday was a 6-car pileup.
Oh, God.
I don't even get off the ramp, the on-ramp at Hilliard. And same thing this morning, stuck on the ramp.
You guys are going to have to find like secret, but you can't share secret passageways because they're not a secret.
There really aren't a lot of ways.
Yeah, there aren't
to get around.
Oh no, I'm changing up. I'm just going to take in 480.
Well,
I can go. I'll go the other way and take in 480. Get on 176.
This is. I'm looking at.
Do you know
the
what
thing
I'm
right
talking about, Czar? On the jersey barriers that are right on the line.
They have a continuous live shot,
and then it goes to the what used to be the shoulder is now 3 different levels and right on the grass.
And they also got the 30-day construction at 117th where they push everybody off to 2 left lanes.
Just naming all the state routes.
This is
the real
okay.
Cuyahogan's
well,
here.
Czar, I hope you see. This is where we have to get that hyperloop going, because then we'd fix a lot of problems here. Czar, thank you very much for the call. Be careful out there. I mean, we got your network on here, 19, and I mean they got a continuous feed of what's going on out there. This is an everyday thing until 2028.
Yeah,
that's
2028.
untenable. That's untenable. Well, I hope everybody is going to be. Make sure you take her easy. And give yourself a little bit of extra time, please. I want everybody to be safe and sound and make it to work on time, or at least safely. Safely. Tim Leggler, 8:20 this morning, about last night, coming up here in about 15 or so minutes. I got to ask you guys a question. You even want them to win? Are we not competitors here?
I want them to win in New England this week to keep their I want interest in the team. Had they have lost to Miami this week, yeah, we would have had a great week of radio about fire everybody. Are you going to do that for every week the rest of the way? So, yeah, I'd like them to go down to New England and win, because Drake May, I think he makes this game so much more interesting. The Myles Garrett and our defensive line against their incredible rookie, who I've seen people compare to Patrick Mahomes over the last week with John Elway's physicality. That's how people are describing Drake May. And Josh McDaniels, we know, can scheme up an offense. What a great challenge. I think there's intrigue this week. Absolutely. Plus the Mike Vrabel part of this.
So I think the new way of thinking.
How could you not get into this game?
And this is part of my issue. And this has been part of my issue with the Browns here over the last, really over the last 5 years. Because my question has been, have you adjusted the guardrails? Have you adjusted them? Because my thought was it's the same as the Indians when they made their TV deal. If you're the first, that can be a great thing. However, everybody can just improve on your design. So when the Indians did their TV deal, now they're the Guardians, but when they did their TV deal and they were the first one there, wow, this is groundbreaking. But everybody else was able to improve their deals and get more than what you were because you were on for too long in that deal. Okay, hey, you're the first team. We're analytically driven. I think some teams have used your model and they've improved upon it. And then they've been able to mix in both. They've been able to mix in the guts and the blood and all that stuff that we talk about. And then, of course, they're able to mix in the analytics. So you're able to get the right type of athlete, but you're also able to get the right type of person that's able to help out your football team, because it is a personality, heart-driven game as much as we want to make it X's and O's and all the other stuff. I don't like this level of thinking, though, that I think I'm about to hear from Jeff. I love Jeff. A lot of respect for Jeff. Eraser phrase. Okay? When we talked about it earlier, I like fighting with Nick and Jonathan. Maybe Jake Volnick will enter into that at some point, but, I'm going to leave Jake do his thing.
It's like the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but when it comes to Andy and Jeff, it's meh. Doesn't always go well. Okay? Jeff had this to say. I know what you're thinking. You're going to get that basket clip right.
No, I wouldn't do that.
You going to do it? All right, here's Jeff.
Bud, you should probably know what you're talking about.
I knew it. All right. This is something I don't really like, but here's Jeff yesterday. Go ahead.
I hate it when a team kind of is out of playoff contention and then continues to win games.
What are you talking about?
The Browns aren't there yet.
It saved Eric Mangini's job here.
Yeah, for how long, and what did that do for anybody other than Eric and the Mangini family?
Hey, they had a good night last night.
Well, that's
the brother-in-law.
It's just
brother
this.
And brother-in-law go to World Series for the first.
If you're out of the playoff race, it does you no good as an NFL team to win games. None. Andy, I'm just looking at it from a team building standpoint, and I know you want to create the culture and blah 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 blah. You want to add as much good young talent to your team as you can.
10 years ago, that was a big deal. 10 years ago, a lot of people should have agreed, probably. Even myself probably should have agreed. I didn't agree because I had too much pride. Maybe I've gotten a little bit smarter now. I don't see that in the NFL. I don't see it in the NFL. I think it's the wrong way of thinking. I think that's backwards now. I think it's the wrong way of thinking. I see so many of these teams that have tanked, and they don't improve anything. They continue to tank. I know that Jacksonville is 4-3 now, and Trevor Lawrence should be a much better quarterback than what he is. You're 4-3. You just got boat race. Have the Rams ever tanked? The Rams got rid of all their draft picks, went out and got veterans, had the right type of mindset, had the right type of culture. They continue 10-7 over the last couple of years. They still make the playoffs. Have they ever tanked? Good organizations, do they ever truly tank? No. Basketball, hey man, NBA, goes without saying.
Yeah, we end up winning a championship.
You got to do what you got to do. You got to. I'm not arguing it in the NBA. I wouldn't argue if the Cavs, if this run came to an end this year or next year, it's like, hey, we got to do what we got to do. Get ready for an 18-19 win season, and we'll see where it goes. We're going to do evaluations. But man, I just see these organizations in the NFL, and they continuously win, and they develop guys somehow by continuously winning. Like there is a price that you're going to pay by always drafting 32nd, 30th, 29th. Like, yeah, you're going to have a worse return.
Well, there's definitely, it's different. Like in Pittsburgh, Steeler fans wish there would have been some seasons of tanking now.
But, they say that, but do they?
Well, they don't have to live through it.
I think they say that, but they don't have to live through it. They don't know what it's like. See, this is what annoys me with a Steeler fan, is that you guys are upset because, hey, you're 9-8 every year, and you're kind of going to the middle. You don't know what it is, and you would love to fire Mike Tomlin. Even though I have a lot of respect for him, and you do as well, they'd love to fire Mike Tomlin. If you sat there at any point on the history of this show as a Steelers fan, and we have a lot of Steelers fans who listen, and you have laughed your ass off at my frustration and my misery and my red face and nearly having a heart attack, yelling at you, and you over there with your face and that sour puss that you've given, and the hope and the thought of despair without any hope. If you've laughed at it, that's what you're going through. That's what you want. You're telling me you want that? Because you have faith right now that, we tank it out for 1 year and we'd just be fine. No. Because when teams tank, they tend to keep bad decisions going. Things that stay in motion tend to be in motion, either good or bad. And it is so hard. And if we've learned anything, the teams that tank, they just continuously end up tanking. They continuously end up at the bottom. But the teams that actually try and fight their asses off, somehow they're always there. You know why? Because they have good people in charge. So yeah, Kansas City might not get a great back-end first-round pick. They're able to scout, and they get good guys in the second and third round who end up being good football players for them. They have a great quarterback, and those guys don't fall off the trees. And they traded up to get that guy.
The pressure is on them more that they have to find those diamonds in the rough in other rounds because they're never bad enough.
But they're good enough as an organization to find those guys. So they're able to get second-round guys and plug them in. They're able to get an Isaiah Pacheco and plug him in until he's no longer useful. They're able to get these guys and put them into situations until they're no longer useful around the quarterback, the best quarterback of this generation, who they did not tank to get. The Bills traded up for Josh. We've done this a million times over. And when I hear that, I'm going, you're just perpetuating the same crap that we've been doing for the history of this station. At what time during these last 14 years have showed you that I have a laundry list of experience and evidence that tells you that no, this line of thing, love Jeff, totally disagree with him, respect him, respectfully disagree with him, fine. I wouldn't respectfully disagree with a lot of other guys. I respectfully disagree with Jeff because he's a great guy. Okay? I have a laundry list of stuff that tells me that this line of thinking does not work with this football team.
Yeah, but logically, like everything you said, 100% dead on, for sure.
Thank you.
But what sucks is when you're sitting there in the draft and this Browns team, I think people are now saying, all right, well, we're clearly not at the level of the Dolphins or Jets. We are a level above them. So what does that mean? That means 5 wins, right? Mm-hmm. Or it could be if things go well, maybe Dylan Gabriel can play with a lead more, and maybe you get to 6 wins. Maybe you trade for Garrett Wilson at the deadline. Well, we want to get really crazy here. Now we end up with 7 or 8. It's like, oh, all right. Well, there will be 3 to 4 quarterbacks that will have first round grades, and now you can't get any of them.
Yeah, but
that's where on draft day you will be.
Well, you can always use your first round draft pick and move up if you really wanted to do it, because you know what?
You're not getting ahead of the Jets. You're not getting ahead of the Dolphins.
I know that.
Have a team that doesn't need a quarterback.
But I'm gonna tell you this: the Jets. How many times have they drafted the right quarterback? They're a perfect example. The Dolphins, they had Justin Herbert sitting there. They took Tua. They took Tua over Justin Herbert. That's who they took. So I don't have much faith that those tanking teams who have been tanking, who continuously do it the wrong way, will somehow get it right. I don't have much faith in that because the Dolphins made the playoffs a couple of times. Big whoop. They didn't do much. But the teams that don't tank, they all of a sudden, they're able to make the deeper runs. They're able to be taken seriously in the AFC and NFC championship game. So you know what? If I get to 8 wins this year, which is not probably going to happen, right? But say I told you, I got 5 wins slotted for you right now with terrible teams that you still have left on the schedule. Go get me 2 to 3 more. Because you know what you would tell me? At least your young guys are dudes. And then my other rookies are stepping into better situations. Because now I have guys who are willing to take it seriously and pay the price. And if you have guys who are willing to pay the price, like you cannot just put this, and this is a terrible way to state it, but I'm going to state it. You can't just put it on a spreadsheet and think that that's going to win. Every single Super Bowl team has a bunch of guys who were just willing to pay the price. They were willing to do it. They put it behind them. That's why it's so tough to redo it, because after you pay the price, you want to get yours. But you have tons of guys who are policing the locker room on their own, willing to step up on their own, not bitching on their own, and they were willing to do it. Things change. A.J. Brown, that's example number 1. You got your Super Bowl, now things change. But for that moment, you got it. And they'll jettison him, and they'll still be a good football team. That's what they'll deal with. And for us, we're going to have to figure it out on our end. Because if they keep saying, well, I'm still better than the Dolphins, I'm still better than the Jets, when have those two teams got it right over the last umpteen years? Never. I'd like to be a better example as an organization than the Jets and the Fish. 8:20, Tim Leggler joins us on the show. Coming up in About Last Night, which is in just 5 minutes away on the Fan. Folks, we got to have some wonderful nostalgia. We got to live it all over again. I was 7 years old, you were 12, all over again, just last night. It's coming up in 5 minutes on the Fan.
Anthony
From the University Hospital's sports desk, we are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
So much can happen around the globe that we never hear of.
Embarrassing. We got to be better on defense.
It won't matter till April. I think we know that. Y'all gonna write us off. We could go 82-0. No one would care.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. How he couldn't please his wife, so now he's divorced.
Put a damn winning team on the field.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Well, the NBA season is officially back with a pair of barn burners last night, and we finally have, after a 23-year absence, the return of the National Basketball Association on NBC. And what a way for it to kick off last night on the Peacock.
Adams looking. They get it to Jabari Smith. His toss to the win. Good. And the Thunder with an opening night victory.
The Thunder outlast Kevin Durant and the Rockets in double overtime, making this an early Game of the Year candidate. You couldn't have written a better script for the NBA to return to NBC last night.
I thought it was fun where in the beginning, in the open, they showed all the current NBA players, and they were asking about the last time the NBA was on NBC, and they were like, I wasn't alive.
It was a good bit. It was pretty good.
Feeling old.
I love that. And then obviously they incorporated MJ, and really it was just, I guess, an extension of his 20-hour interview he did for The Last Dance. He just sat there telling stories. Some of them maybe not necessarily that entertaining, but it's MJ, so you're kind of staring at the TV because you just don't get a chance very often to hear from him.
There's no way that was a pizza for the flu game.
Right.
They did not give him a pizza. Nobody's going to take the greatest basketball player on the face of the planet at that point. You ain't going to give him... No, strangers just can't show up with pizza. I don't care if it was the 90s or not.
Well, he also told a story last night about how he switched to free throw after years of not picking up a basketball during like a recent vacation, and people were like, I don't know if that's true.
Why wouldn't he?
He was at some billionaire's house that he rented during the Ryder Cup.
Believe that one. You wouldn't believe that one?
Well, he said he was as nervous as he's been in a long time because he doesn't pick up a basketball anymore. I don't know. The only issue I had is I wanted the better picture than you would get on cable, so I went to Peacock. Mm-hmm. And I go there. The first thing you do is you click on your profile, and I have Captain Lee from Below Deck, which always makes my wife a little puzzled.
I have a Peacock.
Why are you clicking on this older gentleman? Anyway, I click on him, and it was working until it just froze and was intermittent. And so the streaming just wasn't all that good. And aren't there going to be some exclusive streaming-only games that you have to watch if you want to see certain teams this year?
I wonder what the number is going to be, because obviously that's our overload situation, right? Wouldn't you think so?
Yeah, so maybe it just won't be as high as it was last night. A lot of people looking to get in. But, for as much as people talk about all the bad things in the NBA that are exclusive to the NBA, they do have their own problems. I got to say, opening night got a lot of praise from all over the internet. And people that don't even necessarily praise the NBA said this was a great viewing experience.
What did you think of Mike Tirico?
I think Tirico is big game. And it's been a while since we've been able to hear from Tirico, but in basketball matters, remember, he was the guy that I think they debuted basketball on ABC.
I believe so.
So it was awesome to hear Mike Tirico. And plus, so many of the LeBron years, the original LeBron years, they were accompanied by Mike Tirico being on the mic.
We won't see the Cavs on NBC tonight. We'll see them on ESPN as they have the season opener against the New York Knicks. Head coach Kenny Atkinson yesterday talking if they need to temper expectations after last year's 15-0 start.
We never set a goal, hey, let's start out 15-0. Right off the bat, my expectations are come in the gym, be locked in, and just have that mentality where every day is golden. The results take care of themselves if you're kind of checking all the boxes.
I found it interesting that over the last 2 days, we've gotten a lot of stories on these Cavaliers coming together, showing up 2 weeks early, Evan Mobley putting in all the work with his trainer, Darius bulking up a little bit. And look, I normally side-eye all that stuff when I hear it with the Browns every offseason. With these Cavs, I actually believe it. I actually believe the propaganda that accompany most teams in sports. The beat reporters do the fluff pieces before the season about how this year is going to be different. I normally put my guard up, and I'm like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Like Deshaun Watson throwing the ball around. Yeah, I believe he did it. I don't believe it's going to help them get better. With these Cavs, they've earned the benefit of the doubt on that stuff.
What is the line now? What's it dropped to? Are we favored now? I think they were 2.5 before. We should be favored after the
tonight,
Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, and now maybe
Carman
Towns might be in. Okay, 2.5 points. There you go.
And I liked us originally because they're installing a new offense and a completely new identity with those players. That takes time. That can take a month. So I think the Cavs are gonna come on in, and I think Donovan relishes going into that gym and playing well.
Meanwhile, we had some friction yesterday in the football world between head coach of the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, and his former quarterback, Russell Wilson. Now, this came on Sunday. This is audio from Sean Payton after the loss of the Giants.
I have a ton of respect for that organization. I spent 4 of my early years there. You know, they found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to John Marin not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game.
Now, this prompted Russell Wilson to tweet yesterday, starting with the term classless and ending with the hashtag, "Let's ride."
It was classless, and it was also awesome. I actually loved hearing it. You know, we're not going to ever hear that stuff from our head coach. Like, our coach is never going to get down in the mud on any of that stuff. Sean Payton, he doesn't care. He's won a Super Bowl. Granted, it was a long time ago. He's going to be going to the playoffs again this year. He can get away with a little more, maybe, than Stefanski can. But we're just never going to get anything interesting out of Stefanski at a press conference like that.
Can you say you like it if it was classless? Yeah. If you also admit it was classless?
I love it. It's professional sports. Like, I don't like classless in high school. In professional sports, I embrace it. I want to see more.
Yeah, but the text you get about high school is classless.
What do you mean?
I don't think we're allowed to discuss that now.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this the first time?
Are you talking about coaching odds for a certain high-profile job that could be opening up?
Shut up.
Is that classless?
A little bit. Not. It's not the classiest thing I've ever seen.
We're getting texts from all over the country.
Shut up.
Well, correct me. This is the first time we've heard Russell Wilson clap back at Sean Payton, because for a long time it was Payton saying this stuff about Wilson, and Wilson just kind of kept to himself, saying "Let's ride," doing Subway commercials.
Once you said clap back, I'm out. Move on.
Yeah, good for Russ though. Good. You should have a good back and forth with it.
That's it for about last night.
That's it.
That's it.
What, it ends with you saying clap back and that's it?
Why can't I say clap back at my age?
Would I rather hear clap back or talk about his snapback hat that everybody comments on? If you're only going to be on the last 2 rungs, Mitch, just wear it front ways.
Why am I going to wear it front ways? It's
because
a flat
people
bill.
On YouTube,
flat bill snapbacks don't look good forwards.
It doesn't look good on you anyway, son. I got people saying it's holding on for dear life on the YouTube. What do you want me to say?
That's not nice.
I'm just trying to help him. I'm just trying to help him.
I know you're going to take cheap shots at Mitch.
That's not a cheap shot.
Mitch.
That's not a cheap
It's
shot.
Advice. It's
not
advice.
A cheap shot. It's not a cheap shot.
So why can't he wear hats?
You can wear a cheap shot on somebody else. He can wear any hat he wants to.
Right.
For some odd reason, has a aversion to people seeing his hair on YouTube.
No, I like wearing the different hats every day.
It's like your thing?
Yeah.
But every day it's just Mitchell and Ness, right? That's all we're seeing.
It's like the equivalent of the guy who wears zany socks at work to me, Mitch. You don't want to hear my thoughts on that, do you?
I do not.
I always say guys who make big deals. I'm going to say it anyway. The guys who make big deals about their socks is they make big deals about their socks because they don't have much of a personality or anything else going for them anyway.
There's nothing else there.
No.
Wow, you really sucked it to him, Ken.
You proud of yourself on that one?
Sucked it to him because it's about socks, Ken.
Go around the AFC North at 9 o'clock. It's like it's not socks and backwards hats that are holding on for dear life are not nearly as bad as saying you're going to pierce your nipples over a football team losing a football game in the regular season. We'll talk about holding on to try to be relevant. Andrew Filippone is going to join us at 9 o'clock. Also, before Pony, we have Cavs home opener tickets coming up at 9 o'clock. Your chance to win big. And in 5 minutes, just 5 minutes away, if you want to see Shedeur play, you're going to have to just trust the Cleveland Browns. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Tim Leggler talks Cavs with us from ESPN at 8:20 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima.
Coming up before practice later on this morning, going to hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski, 10:55 live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
Minutes away, Tim Leggler going to join us. ESPN. We preview the Cleveland Cavaliers as they take on the New York Knicks. Home opener tickets coming up at 9 o'clock. Your chance to win Cavs. Home opener tickets 9 a.m. We'll go around the AFC North. Have you gotten any texts? Have you smelled any of the smoke surrounding Garrett Wilson?
Heck yeah.
You have?
Heck yeah. Was that the difference between...
Why won't you say hell yeah?
It's just not my cup of tea, Kenny, as you know.
Yeah, you're not a big cusser.
But the thing is, I am at home. I don't know. Just when I walk through these doors, something changes.
Okay.
A metamorphosis, if you will.
Interesting.
Would these texts have come had they have lost to Miami?
Maybe.
You think so?
You're always on the lookout for talent.
Well, that's true. Just trades doesn't mean you need a guy today for this year, and that's it. And
well,
obviously,
he's still young. Garrett Wilson's like, what, 25?
25 years old, yeah.
That's what he is?
Yeah. What, he signed a...
You've been doing some snooping around if you knew that right off the top of your head. What have you been doing? Because I remember
Kenny.
ages you don't. So what do you know?
Well, just...
What do you know?
Just he's clearly going to be available, right? And...
How do we know he's going to be available, Tone?
Oh, I think when you're the Jets, the last thing you want to be doing is paying a wide receiver in their situation.
Wait a minute. We've won 2 more games than the Jets. Is that what we want to do? Now we're going to go in a circle.
Right. Well,
$130 million contract. We've already got Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, my response was that ideally, because of the contracts that they have under their belt for next year with all the dead cap and all of that stuff, I don't know that they want to take on a huge wide receiver contract. Like, my guess is, ideally, and if you're feeling better about the Browns drafts after this year, you would want to go into the draft and get a rookie making a fraction of this money.
Yes, you would.
That has a chance to be just as good.
Yes, you would.
Now, it's always a crapshoot.
Who would that guy be?
Well,
Would you have a chance to get Carnell Tate, who's fantastic, but would you have a chance to get him?
Well, the fact that you have 2 picks,
but you might need to use 2 picks to get your quarterback because
or offensive line.
If you get Garrett Wilson, now we're having a conversation here. If you get Garrett Wilson, he's going to make any quarterback you have look better. Because they've had some impossible quarterbacks with the New York Jets. If you get Garrett Wilson, you're going to make just about any quarterback you have look better.
Except the Jets quarterbacks.
I shudder to think what the Jets quarterbacks would look like if they didn't have Garrett Wilson. Thank you very much. Wait, do you have something different to say on that one? Okay. So he might make them look better than what they are, which they're terrible, right? Right. So if you got him, what would you do then after that? What would you do?
Well, there's going to be a lot of discussion about the strategy, and we will have plenty of months to delve into the draft just in terms of, forget about player, talk about profile. Like, you are staring at a team that is going to need, in free agency, to go after how many offensive linemen? At least one. Yes. You're going to have to pay. The Browns will have to be players in the free agency market for an offensive lineman this year, right?
Yeah, sorry. I'm looking at something Ryan Wilson wrote, and I almost didn't pay attention because I can't wait to tell you this, but go ahead. Go ahead.
They're definitely going to have to do that. That'll take up one of their spots on the offensive line. Then what are you doing with Wyatt Teller? Are you signing him to a deal?
Well, if I get Garrett Wilson, can I afford Wyatt Teller?
Well, so therein lies the issue with their situation ultimately. Now the good news is they've got a bunch of draft picks and they got 2 in the first round. Will they even draft? Are we even positive they're going to draft a quarterback? I always thought they would, and there's going to be at least 3 that grade out first round. Browns will have 2 first-round picks. Stands to reason that they're going to use one of those on a quarterback, or, dare I say, both on a quarterback if they need to. So that complicates things. Well, and then when are you getting the wide receiver? We know they don't have a great track record of trying to draft wide receivers in the 3rd round.
So right now, Mike Renner of CBS, I just go by CBS, Mike Renner and Ryan Wilson. Mike has Fernando Mendoza going number 1 to the Jets. Dante Moore from Oregon going number 1 to the Jets has Ryan Wilson has that. All right, the Browns, he's got the Browns with their first pick drafting 9th. They're taking... we're
down to 9th?
Oh, no, 8th. I'm sorry. They're taking Jordan Tyson.
We're up to 8th?
They're taking Jordan Tyson, Arizona State wide receiver. All right? Then they have Amari Washington, and defensive lineman, going at number 19. Well, you're taking BPA, right? For Ryan, he has him taking Carnell Tate. Number 19 overall. Is Carnell going to fall that far?
I don't think so.
Now let me just throw one more in there at you, and then we'll get to something else.
You know, Jordan Tyson's brother's Jalen Tyson, right?
You know what? You would assume
you could have Tyson to Tyson.
Ryan also has the Browns trading with Philadelphia at number 31 overall and taking John Mateer from Oklahoma. Righting previous wrongs.
Spicy.
Now, Josh Edwards, who is a Browns fan, admitted Browns fan, CBS, did this. This is all yesterday, real quick. Number 6 overall, the Browns, Lenore Sellers, South Carolina. He's been banged up this year.
I know.
I can't get a good feel on it. Big body, but getting banged up. I don't know what the hell to do. What?
Well, did you watch that game this weekend?
I did.
It was against Oklahoma. And
I know.
They do have a good defense.
That's a big-time defense. I know. I know, but he's playing hurt. I know he's playing hurt.
Looking like Jalen Milroe?
It's a rough one. He's got Carnell Tate going 15th overall. Boy, I think a lot of people would be excited about what Josh Edwards just did. So
yeah,
that's all I'm going to say. By the way, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, we got 2 rookie quarterbacks. One's playing, one's not playing. And if you want to see the guy who's not playing, which again, all you guys, we all want to get in these fights, and I don't want to fight over any of these guys. Not going to do it. Because I think, honestly, if people were honest with themselves, I think talking to Browns fans, not Dylan fans or Shador fans, talking to Browns fans, I think Browns fans probably think that neither of them are that great. Because if Shador was that great, he'd already be playing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a star. They're not keeping him down on purpose. So if he were that great right now, he'd be playing. He's not playing. But people outside of Cleveland think, the Cleveland Browns are inept, and they've been inept in the past, and maybe they're inept in this case, right? But if you wanted to fight over him, I think you're in a situation now, and you want to see the backup play, Shador. You're in a situation where you really have to trust the Browns, because Albert Breer was on Afternoon Drive yesterday, and he said this about Gabriel and Sanders.
This is going to come down to the stuff we don't see. You know what I mean? I think it's really about what this looks like in practice, and we don't have access to that. The steps that Shador takes, because obviously now the runway's been cleared. Kenny Pickett's gone, Joe Flacco's gone, and they're one play away from having to put Shador into the game. So then I think, it really comes down to what's best for the other 10 guys in the huddle. And I think that's an underrated piece of this. And I know I've said this to you guys before, but I mean it. When you're evaluating your Jerry Jeudy's, your Harold Fannons, your Quinshon Judkins, your Dylan Sampsons, your David Njoku's for next year, you want to create the clearest picture that you can. And you want to give those guys the best chance they can possibly have to be at their very best, so you can make those decisions with a clear head. Is Dylan Gabriel giving you the best chance to do that, or is Shador Sanders giving you the best chance to do that? And there was a gap there, and there's been a gap there. And so how does Shador Sanders close that gap? That has to happen Monday through Saturday.
Well, Mary Kay was asked that yesterday in the midday show. She'll be joining us at 8:20 tomorrow morning. And she was asked about the development, and she doubled down on what we're not seeing because we can't watch Shador practice, but here's what she knows.
I think his development has gone really, really well behind the scenes. That is what I'm hearing with the people that I've talked to. He's doing a really, really nice job. He's making progress in every way, including in all of those ways that they really needed him to, just in terms of being able to get the play articulated. He's really coming along. And the thing about Shador, I've written this so many times, I've said it so many times, but he has elite accuracy. And that's the place where I think he has Dylan beat, is in the accuracy piece. But you have to be able to get to that point where you have time to throw that ball and you're getting it out fast enough so that you can get it there on time and all those kinds of things. But in a 7-on-7 drill, if you put those two up next to each other and you just started doing a red zone 7-on-7, I think Shador would win that drill most of the time. But that doesn't mean that he would be the better choice at quarterback right at this moment.
I understand what she's saying. I understand completely what she's saying there. We probably will get to a point naturally where he just has to win that out and he has to play. I don't know if it's going to be there. Like where you had, and this is my problem with a lot of the frustration. There is zero trust with the Browns organization from anybody. I don't even know if the Browns trust themselves, to be honest with you. Because as the season goes on and you're 2-5, you got that win, that's great. But if you lose again on Sunday, and New England's favored, and they're favored by a touchdown for a reason. They're a good football team. If you lose that game on Sunday, then again, when do I play this guy? Is he ready to play? Because you know what's going to happen. Outside of Cleveland, like he'd go out there, and if he sucks up the room, you're going to be blamed. It's going to be on you. So I wonder how much they second-guess themselves. So now, if you want to see the other guy play, and a lot of people do, I have not said that statement. Not yet. No. If you want to see him play, you have to trust the Browns' evaluation here. Because if he were blowing everybody's doors off, frankly, wouldn't he be starting already? It's the Browns. I just gave you all these different names that are possibilities there, and I got people bitching at me just so you're bringing them up. So you definitely want to see where they're at.
I don't know if he would be starting yet. He'd always have Gabriel ahead of him.
Would he? What, just because of the draft order?
Yeah.
Hey, man, like, you've had other guys who were ahead of other guys, and, I mean, you had Matt Flynn who was signed. You had Russell Wilson. I know it's a bad example now, but we go back to it. Russell Wilson was in the third round. Russell Wilson was a rookie. They had Matt Flynn signed. They chose Russ. Now, Matt Flynn had a concussion during training camp. Right. Either way, they chose Russ. They stuck with Russ. The rest is history. So you can go and you can outperform guys. Now, you could say, did they put him in the position? I don't know. See, that's what's frustrating about it. I'm asking questions I don't know the answer to yet. So I can't go spouting off about what I know or don't know about the Browns when I don't know the answer to it. I can only go by what Mary Kay says.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. Everybody assumes we're going to see Shedeur at some point. Mm-hmm. We've heard from national reporters time and time again, there's a gap. But Albert mentioned it again yesterday. There's a gap. Well, it's because people in the Browns building have told him there's a gap. He didn't just make it up out of thin air. But I'm telling you, Albert would love to come on and say that he's nipping at the heels and he's right there ready to go. But he's been pretty consistent. Other national guys have been pretty consistent. We got a little more color on all the work that's being done in terms of the plan from Ian Rappaport a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Like, the thing that stinks is what opportunities do you have in practice when they're trying to get Dylan Gabriel ready for games? You just don't have a ton.
9 o'clock, we go around the AFC North. Coming up in 5 minutes, Tim Leggler, ESPN. Do the Cavs have the most pressure on them in all the NBA? LeBron thinks so. Tim Leggler, he's an analyst. We'll see what Legs has to say coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan. Tom Merriman and Merriman Legal. Folks, you have a choice. Do not sign anything yet until you have talked to Tom Merriman and Merriman Legal. 216-522-9000. Talk to Tom. Talk to his
1 points. Meanwhile, for the Lakers, Luka Doncic, 43 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. Browns back to practice today, getting ready for the game Sunday at New England against the Patriots. Coming up later on this morning before practice, we'll hear from head coach Kevin Stefanski, 10:55, live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Cavs tickets, 9 a.m., your chance to win them for the home opener.
Home opener against the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, we've got Cavs basketball tonight on the road. And joining us, the lead analyst at ESPN, Tim Leggler. He is a great follow. He's doing sit-downs. He's doing chalk talk, all sorts of the cool stuff that people have been begging to see more of from people like Tim Leggler over at ESPN. And it's been awesome to see. Tim, thanks for coming on the Fan Hotline. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm super stoked because we're going to call real basketball tonight. You know, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of preseason basketball, so get me some real games that count. And where better to start than tonight? The game we're going to have, which is going to be the Cavaliers and Knicks in the Garden. Two teams I think that most people consider to be the favorites in the Eastern Conference going into the season. So I just cannot wait to get going tonight.
Well, we started the show talking about how much pressure there is on the Cavs, and we're a little bit split about it because nationally, teams or the people that I see talking about the Cavs don't seem to be putting them in the same category as, say, Oklahoma City, but yet everybody has them as the 1 or 2 seed coming out of the East. So what does that mean to you when it comes to pressure?
No, I think there's a lot of pressure. I think it's, you can't by acting like it's not there, it doesn't go away. There is pressure because of the 2 regular seasons that the Cavaliers just put together back to back, and then not being able to play as well as they needed to or be as healthy as they needed to in the postseason to make even a legitimate, serious run at getting to the finals. They haven't done that either year, despite this incredible regular season they had a year ago. So yes, the pressure's there, and particularly when I describe it this way: these 2 teams tonight have had the path cleared for them, because I can put the Knicks in the same category. Now, the Knicks did go to the conference finals last year, but again, they had great regular seasons. They brought in this transcendent player in Jalen Brunson, and since he's been here, they've had great regular seasons. Can't get it done in the postseason. Now they've made a coaching change as a result of it, despite the fact that Tom Thibodeau took them to a place they hadn't been in 25 years. They still made a change. That's how much pressure was on the Knicks. Same amount of pressure, I think, on the Cavs. Now, I don't expect a coaching change necessarily. They already made that change and bringing in Kenny Atkinson. But the pressure's there because Boston's dealing with their best player being out pretty much all year, although Tatum's talking about coming back at the end of the year. And Indiana doesn't have Tyrese Halliburton all season. So you're talking about the 2 teams that went to the finals from the East the last 2 years. They're not the same teams. Now the path has been cleared for Cleveland and New York. So for both of these teams, I really will put it this way. If they don't do it this year, when the hell are they? That's the way I'm looking at both of these teams. Assuming they stay healthy, one of these 2 teams should get to the finals this year. That's the way they should be viewing it. And there'll be other challenges in the East. We'll talk about those too. But for me, that's how I'm looking at it. So, yes, there's a lot of pressure, I think, on both of these teams because of their track record the last few years in the postseason.
Tim Leggler joins us, ESPN. How does Evan Mobley get to that next step where he becomes that 1%er, that unicorn that we want him to be, that really the Cavs need him to be if they want to win a title?
Well, I think it's going to continue to be increased volume in terms of his importance in the offense. And look, I don't know if Evan Mobley's ever going to be a guy that's going to develop, this escapability with his handle so that he can go get a shot anytime he wants in a one-on-one situation. Because, that tier of player that we're talking about, those are the guys that are first-team All-NBA guys. Those are the guys that are, competing for MVPs. I don't know that Evan Mobley still has that much to grab offensively, but I do think the things that he does do well offensively, I still think there's a level of aggressiveness. And you've already seen an uptick, but I think there's another level for that for him. And if he does that and the Cavs have the same level of regular season success, now you're talking about a guy who's then going to be pushing for, first team All-League, second team All-League, like one of those type of guys. So I do think there's more to grab just in terms of his mindset and the way the Cavs use him offensively. I don't know that he's ever going to be a guy that you could just put on an island with any defender and he can get his own against anyone. Like that, those guys are a little bit of a different category. So I'm as excited as anybody. The growth he's already shown to this point in his career has been pretty incredible. Defensive Player of the Year to boot. So I'm excited to see like what's the next leap look like for Evan Mobley this season.
Tim Leggler joining us on the fan hotline right now. So that's Evan Mobley, but Donovan Mitchell has been their best player. And I'm curious where you think he sits when it comes to the superstars in the league, because when he is on, I mean, he looks like Dwayne Wade. Like he can do everything you need. He can score at every level on the court. But for whatever reason, despite the transcendent playoff performances he's had where he'll score 50 if you need him to, he is so spent after a couple of rounds, and he hasn't been able to break through to the conference finals.
Yeah, it's the same thing with him, and he had the same issues in Utah. He was the alpha on those teams offensively, and they were great defensive teams, and then they'd get into the postseason, and they'd run into an opponent that was typically better, but it requires, in that situation, your best player to be able to figure out a way to not only put up big numbers, but to do it efficiently, and most importantly, to do it in the big spots when you have to, in those game-defining and series-defining moments that you're going to get. And that has been where Donovan Mitchell has had a hard time throughout his career. And I think, you saw it again a year ago in the closeout game with Indiana when he goes 8 for 25 from the field. Those moments, those stages, those nights, those spots, those are the ones that are the tipping points for Donovan Mitchell. No one can deny his talent. He's a first-team All-League NBA player a year ago, and that was deserving. Now it's got to be in those spots. It's 2-2, and it's a 2-point game in Game 5 of a series this year in the postseason. Those are the moments when Donovan Mitchell needs to be at his best and be efficient. And most importantly, I think in some of those spots, make sure you're not settling for the shot that the defense wants you to take, like a step back deep three with a hand in your face. Get to the line, get something going to the rim, get something in transition. Those are the areas in which he excels, and that's what he's going to be defined by. And this season may be more important than ever because, again, with what the top of the East looks like, I mean, this is right there for the taking for the Cleveland Cavaliers and really the Knicks. I would put in the same category. So that's what we're going to be judging him by at the end of the season. How did he rise to the occasion, and how did he perform in those moments that turn series, that win series, that define series?
Tim Leggler joining us, ESPN. The Cavaliers made a move from J.B. Bickerstaff to Kenny Atkinson. Hey, we like Kenny, but hey, J.B. Bickerstaff's proven he's still a really, really good coach up in Detroit. What is Mike Brown expected to do for the Knicks that Tom Thibodeau didn't?
I think a couple of things. I think, first of all, I do think he's going to have more trust to go a little bit deeper in his rotation. Now, Tom Thibodeau got beat up pretty badly in his time in Chicago, Minnesota, and then New York, and running guys into the ground. I do think that's a little bit overstated. I think that some of that criticism has been unfair. But I do think there is a trust factor that Mike Brown is going to have to show that Tom Thibodeau was reluctant to at times. So that's first. And look, they've gone out and they've added some pieces that they're really counting on. Jordan Clarkson, Yabusele from Philadelphia coming in. Both of those guys going to play major roles. Hopefully Mike Brown gets a healthy Mitchell Robinson all year, which Tom Thibodeau didn't get. So there's some additional pieces that Mike Brown's going to have that he's going to have to trust. But I think the other thing is this. The usage rate for Jalen Brunson on the ball is, I don't think, sustainable to be able to run through series after series in the postseason and get through these teams that you're going to have to. So I think seeing him off the ball more, seeing him, where they play faster so that even if he is on ball, that he's not dealing with the level of traffic and that he's got to pound the ball through and control the ball to the extent he does. That's just very difficult for guards. Anybody that's under 6'4", that's hard to play that way in the NBA if that guy is dominating the ball to that extent and shooting the ball to that extent. It's just hard to be able to be efficient enough in the big spots. I just talked about it with Donovan Mitchell. So I think that's going to be the biggest change, and I'm looking forward to seeing it tonight. How much different does their pace look? How much different does Jalen Brunson off the ball or not being the constant initiator of the offense in ball screen? How different does that look, which will make them more viable to me, in my eyes, when they get into the postseason. But again, I'm waiting to see it like everybody else because preseason is not an indicator of it. It's just not. Too many guys are not playing. You're not playing top-tier defenses. So we got to see it tonight when it really matters, and that's the first thing we're going to be looking for in the first half of this game tonight is what their pace looks like, how his usage looks.
Tim Leggler with us. It's great to have you, someone who's been breaking down a lot of the X's and O's, to kind of explain something that we've been having trouble with in Cleveland, which is why does Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland look so beautiful throughout the regular season? Why the sets that Atkinson uses, the spacing, the freedom of movement, all that stuff, why does that go away in the playoffs where there's no proof of concept of those two working together at a high level?
Well, listen, I think part of it is because when you start to get into a postseason and you have an opponent now that is just focused on you, there are a lot of teams and offenses and styles, and the Cavs are in this category, very difficult to deal with in the regular season. This team is coming in, they were historically good offensively last year, and now they're coming in, and what did you have to talk about? If you had probably a shoot-around or a walkthrough and a film session, and then a scouting report. Now here they come. There's a lot of situations in the league that's very difficult to deal with. Dealing with OKC's defense when you're preparing for them and them only in the regular season is very difficult. So for the Cavs, offensively, they can do their thing. When you get into a series, and now, first of all, you've had 48 to 72 hours minimum going into the first game to prepare for just them. That's different than the regular season. And then the adjustments game by game where you can really start to tighten up the margins and how you guard them and taking away some of the things they like to do. And again, you're talking about two guards that take a lot of jump shots. And so in the playoffs, there's the pressure of it. The physicality of the defense means you're being held more, grabbed more, and it's just more. There's more fatigue that's going to be there in a playoff game, and the adjustments defensively to try to put you in spots and take away things that were very successful for you in the regular season, individually and collectively. You add it all up, and it just becomes more difficult to maintain the same level all the way through the postseason. And that's where I think for Cleveland, one of the things they have going for them is the fact that they've got balance with they've got bigs, they've got shooting, they've got elite level guys that you can put on ball with Garland and Mitchell. So they've got balance across the board, and they shouldn't be so reliant on Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell having to make a lot of jump shots in a playoff series to win it. And I think that's kind of what teams are going to force them into. Can they overcome that challenge? That's the biggest question for Cleveland. And there's no doubt they're going to have a great regular season. There's no doubt they're going to be great offensively. All that matters for them, and it's the same thing with the Knicks, none of this stuff in the regular season is going to matter a whole hell of a lot. What do they do in those big spots once they get into the postseason? That's what their entire year is going to be judged by.
Year 23 for LeBron. It's absolutely crazy that he could be still playing and playing at a high level when he's on the floor. But the problem is he's not going to be there for at least a month to start out the year. What do you think this looks like when all is said and done with LeBron and a team that's hoping to make a big-time run?
It's a good question. I'm waiting to see myself. Obviously, this is weird because he's going into the year dealing with an injury, and that's not typical for LeBron. It reminds us that the guy's human. He's in his 40s. He's 23 years in the league, which is actually kind of incredible. I'm trying to think. I was 2 years at ESPN when he came into the league. This is my 25th year. I'm about to start. So he and I are sort of came into the league about the same time in terms of the analyst and him playing. But he's proving that he's human. So now we're going, okay, well, is this going to be something that he's going to be dealing with a lot of different things this year? And I think their approach to LeBron is going to be different, which is going to affect their regular season. I do think they're going to do everything they can to preserve him and try to have him upright and healthy, come mid-March, late March, as you get ready for that start of the playoffs, which means they're going to sacrifice some nights in the regular season. It's not going to be good enough what they have. I think you saw it last night. So I'm as curious as anybody. What does this look like now that he's dealing with an injury going into the season, which is not typical for him? And is this something where there's going to be this cumulative effect? Are things going to start to finally catch up to this guy that looks superhuman for all these years? We'll see. I know this. I was watching the game last night. He's sitting on the bench in street clothes, and he did not look like a happy man. And I don't know what that was. I was trying to read his body language. He wasn't super engaged in any of the huddles. He wasn't really interactive with his teammates. As the final horn was sounding, you could see him getting up and just walking to the tunnel. Like he wasn't lingering around, kind of talking to his teammates. So I don't know if what he was looking at on the court. Was he saying to himself, man, this is going to be tough because they were not very good defensively last night. Super Luka, dependent offensively. I don't know what's going through his mind. I wish I had a thought bubble on him last night to figure out what that look on his face was. But he doesn't look very happy right now. And part of it's, look, he's hurt. But I don't know if he's looking at his team and thinking, man, this is going to be good enough in an absolutely loaded Western Conference. And all those teams at the top got better.
Tim Leggler with us. I know we're pressed for time, but I did want to get your response to this because you're warming up. You're the lead analyst now at ESPN. Last night, the league kicks off on NBC, and everybody goes down the nostalgia road. You played in an era where those games were broadcast on NBC. What were you thinking? And as a competitor, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it was cool. And look, it's funny because we're competitors, but we're also partners. And I think all of us genuinely are pulling for each other to have the best product we can, because at the end of the day, you want eyeballs on the league. We all want to collectively advance this for the league. And I think we're making steps in that direction, just with the narrative and what we're talking about and the things we're breaking down. And I think that's been an emphasis. I think the league wants that. I think all of the networks involved now want that. So for me, it was pretty cool to hear the iconic music. And yeah, it did kind of throw you back to that time when we were all used to that and watching that. And I played in NBC games, and it was very cool to see all of that. And look, I will say this, everything that you're going to see here early in terms of NBC and Amazon, and us, honestly, because it's myself, Richard Jefferson, and Mike Breen will be on the call tonight. We'll be calling the NBA Finals down the road, and we've called exactly 2 preseason games together. That's the only games we've called together as a group. Same with those guys. Like, this is all going to be work in progress, and so let's not be too quick to judge one way or the other. This is going to play out over time, and hopefully all of us put our best foot forward down the road as we get better and gel together and give everybody the best year they've had in terms of coverage for the NBA. I mean, that's our goal. It was cool last night watching it. It's just going to get better and better across the board for all of the entities involved that cover it. And I know for myself, I'm going to hopefully do everything I can to pair with my teammates tonight and give the best coverage that we can tonight and going forward all the way through the NBA Finals.
Tim Leggler, ESPN. Hey, real quick, did you go to Disney World recently?
I did, yeah. Unfortunately, it's like my second home because, we get these perks because Disney obviously owns ESPN. So we get all these perks with the parks, and I've got a little guy who literally thinks that's his second home. And we live close enough that we can just shoot over there in a quick drive. So, yes, I'm at Disney World far too often for me to even admit.
I went with my wife and our friends for her 40th birthday, and I was walking to the Hall of Presidents. I looked over and I go, that's Tim Leggler over there. And my wife goes...
So that's funny you say the Hall of Presidents because I can't, for the life of me, get anybody that goes with me to go to the Hall of Presidents.
That's awesome.
So it's funny you just said that because I'm a history nerd. I like that kind of stuff. But when we're there, and that's at Magic Kingdom, when we're there, I can't get anybody to go in there. My wife, my almost 4-year-old, we're doing all the other stuff. But yeah, we're there a lot, believe me.
We go there a lot, and I'm sure that I can get you to go with me the next time we go, which will probably be in like a month, knowing my wife.
And Legs, can we get you to power rank top 3 favorite presidents? Let's go.
Are we really going to do this?
Yes.
Right now?
Come on.
You're going to turn this into some sort of political conversation.
No, just historically speaking, of course.
Just a friendly power rank.
I wouldn't do it.
How about I'll just stick with my favorite all time because it was like the first one when I started to know what any of this stuff meant, and it's Ronald Reagan, of course. Those Reagan years. That was when I first became aware of what all this stuff meant. But I'll stop right there.
Outstanding. Tim, thank you so much for the time. All the very best to you and yours.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Thank you. The great Tim Leggler, ESPN NBA analyst, Legs ESPN on Twitter. Around the FC North
That's
901.
Sage Steele, love to hear that.
In 5 minutes, if they don't do, quote, if they don't do it this year, when the hell will they? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Fat and Thin in the morning on The Fan.
92.3.
sports talk in town, and you can be a part of it anytime you want. Weigh in on X at 92.3 The Fan and see if our hosts make your reaction a part of our shows. Powered by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
When you want the latest on the Browns, we're the station you turn to first. 92.3 The Fan is Cleveland's home for breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
Tim Leggler, he was just with us. ESPN. Talked about the pressure that was on your Cleveland Cavaliers. Do we have the quote yet? Did they turn it around yet for you? All right, here it is. Here's Tim Leggler about if they don't do it this year, well...
No, I think there's a lot of pressure because of the two regular seasons that the Cavaliers just put together back-to-back and then not being able to play as well as they needed to or be as healthy as they needed to in the postseason. These two teams tonight have had the path cleared for them. Now, the Knicks did go to the conference finals last year, but so you're talking about the two teams that went to the finals from the East the last 2 years. They're not the same teams. Now the path has been cleared for Cleveland and New York. So for both of these teams, I really will put it this way. If they don't do it this year, when the hell are they?
Is it put up or shut up time for the Cavs? Is it championship or bust time for the Cavs already? Because I still say no. It might be with the fans' hearts. Because I don't know what moves you make after this if you don't win it this year. What do you do?
Well, it's tough because they're in that weird second apron, and we just haven't seen teams. Yeah. Teams have tried to do everything they can to stay out of it, and the Cavs embraced it. Look, when we started the show, I said no, the pressure wasn't on them to that extent because I was trying to find the NFL comparisons, and I was asking you, was Buffalo championship or bust? I've kind of felt like Buffalo was Super Bowl.
The Bills?
Or bust, yeah.
With Josh
football.
Allen or...
Yeah, in football right now.
Man, I think if you wait... I think the Bills fans... Maybe I'm wrong. I know a lot of Bills fans, so maybe I'm getting this wrong with you guys, but I feel it's you get to the Super Bowl, then you got to win it because you lost 4 in a row. So it's it's championship or bust.
I was just thinking
I'm probably being a little bit too insidery with it, but yeah.
And because the Cavs haven't even been, it's tough to have those aspirations, even after the Donovan Mitchell trade, when you haven't even gotten to the conference finals. And normally you take steps. I know there are some teams that have take huge leaps, but you want them to take these steps. And so I can't go around puffing my chest out going, we're a title team, because I've seen no evidence that they can even play together well in the playoffs yet.
No, but I think what he's saying is that both
I would
these
sound
teams
delusional.
What, that it's championship
Wouldn't
or bust?
If I were talking, if in Oklahoma City,
I think you would.
If I told fans in Oklahoma City, Cavs are a title contender, they'd be like, the hell you are? You can't even win playoff series.
Well, wait a minute. But what about this year? He brought it up
because it's so wide open.
Yeah,
he's saying Tim Leggler made that point.
Because I'm telling you, the runway is never going to be this easy in the East.
I agree with you.
So Tim Leggler's got a hell of... I know you weren't disagreeing with Tim Leggler and what he said, but he's right about that. When you have an injury, a serious injury with Jason Tatum in Boston, you have the injury with Halliburton in Indiana,
and really
it's wide open for you to get there.
Because of the every year injuries with Embiid,
you assume that he's going to have an injury.
Philly would have been ahead of you if he was healthy. He's not ever.
Yes. So now I'm kind of taking it back. Maybe it is because if you don't get it this year, all right. Well, Jason Tatum can't get seriously injured every year, and neither can Halliburton. Joel Embiid can get seriously injured every year, unfortunately. But, man, this is maybe the year. But
and then what is Orlando and Detroit? Those teams think that they're taking a step forward, and Orlando made a big trade.
They did.
To get Desmond Bane.
I think Orlando... You know what? I got to tell you, I can't call it bust because I don't know what you do with them. You could trade Jared Allen, I'm sure, but the other ones are, really not movable contracts until you're ready to break this thing down and restart the whole thing all over again. So Jared Allen might be the only movable one you have. I mean, we could sit there and talk till we're blue in the face about Darius Garland, but I don't know who's trading their wing for him. So, and we've done that a million times over. It's almost becoming the Dolan's cheap conversation then. But this year, I think it is so many championship or we're just never going to take you seriously. Cavs fans might try to take you seriously. They might try to get going, but if you can't get to the finals. Now, I will tell you this. Championship series or bust is probably more like it because Oklahoma City is going to be a really good team again. Houston should be a good team this year. They were a really good team last year. They should be even better this year. And there will be a couple of teams out west that you have to deal with. So getting to the finals, I think, is one thing. Winning the finals is going to be something. So, finals or bust is what it becomes, or finals or not taking you seriously. It's basically what it is. 216-474-0092. Like, Tim Leggler put a lot more pressure on the Cavs than I thought he would.
Yeah, and I guess I put it this way. Now having time to think about it, and yes, Tim made a very, very strong point that how would I feel if we played the Knicks in the second round of the playoffs and lost?
It wouldn't feel good.
We'd be screaming about you got to change the team now.
Yeah.
So that is pressure.
Well, you blamed JB before. You can't just keep blaming the coach.
Yeah. We would be, I think, once and for all, we'd be saying you got to break up the two guards.
Mm-hmm.
But the hard thing is, look at the restrictions once you're in that second apron.
Not a lot you can do.
They have put themselves in a position to where this is the team. There's not a lot of alterations they can really make. They don't have flexibility. That's the one problem with this second apron. You have zero flexibility, no matter how good of a GM you are.
In 6 minutes, we have your chance to win Cavs home opener tickets, and we'll go around the AFC North. Ken Wyman in Baltimore, where they are drawing their ire to Todd Monken. Can Joe Flacco wake up the echoes yet again? Well, that's James Rapine in Cincinnati, and Andrew Filipponi. How he just is going to get his nipples pierced because the team lost a regular season game in Pittsburgh. That's a true story. That's all coming up 9 o'clock as we go around the AFC North on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for Mentality Health. If you're suffering from low energy, lack of motivation, which is ridiculous with basketball starting up, you should be all in. But if you're not, well, I've got news for you. Mentality Health is there to help you right here in Northeast Ohio, helping men like you perform your very best. In fact, board-certified physicians will provide a full
Stefanski 10:55 live right here on 92.3 The Fan. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Talk sports deep into the Cleveland night. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Tonight we're gonna take no prisoners.
Give him away, Tone.
I have it in my hand. All you have to do to win those Cleveland Cavaliers home opening tickets against the Milwaukee Bucks, enter the code word HOME at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. and you will get a chance to see the Cavs at the Q. October 26, 6 p.m. at Rocket Arena. Tickets available. Cavs.com, all from the Cavaliers and the Fan. Kenny, I had myself look at the NBC opening videos, and I got a Bob Costas one yesterday. I had, obviously, Marv Albert. Yep. Well, in the Marv Albert one was year one of Mike Fratello, his former partner, coaching, and they had the blue seats, and they showed the Gund, and it was all about how cool the Gund was, which looks nothing like Rocket Arena now after the facelift.
I like the darker seats now.
Yeah,
You realize with the darker seats, they were a little hard on the eyes, the old seats, but that's just my fault.
Ridiculous looking back.
It's time to go around the AFC North.
How about a football team that needs a facelift?
You better remember, all guests appear on the Fan Hotline. And our first one is Ken Wyman, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, where players are in Baltimore are wondering, too much Monken? Not enough Monken. Is it true that you got some players hemming and hawing saying that maybe Todd has put them in the wrong position, have not put them in a position to win, Ken?
I do wonder about this locker room, and I was having discussions with people at the start of the season. By the way, thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, this locker room makeup, it's a bunch of front runners, and now that they're 1-5, now you got a bunch of belly aching. How about you concentrate on winning some damn football games and stop bitching and moaning about stuff? The other thing is, like, the defense, and I've told you guys this before, it is putrid. I think we're taking our eyes, we're looking at the hole instead of the donut when we start complaining about the offense. But I will say this: if Lamar doesn't play and the offensive line still stinks, you've got problems on offense.
Well, I'll tell you this, though, Ken. When you take away a team's skee ball games and ping pong table, they got nothing to do but sit around and gossip and chatter. The things have gotten so bad. They've taken Steve Biscotti has taken away all the games in the locker room. Correct?
Yeah, I don't know that it was Steve Biscotti who did that, but
sorry, I called him the cookie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, again, why don't you guys concentrate on winning some damn football games? And I think in Baltimore right now, not to take you too far off topic, but is Lamar Jackson practicing today? Because he didn't practice on Monday.
Oh boy!
John Harbaugh leaned into the fact that Lamar would be back coming off the bye. He was asked repeatedly during the bye week, and he said he expects him back. Well, they usually don't practice on a Monday. They practice because they were coming off the bye, and Lamar wasn't out there. So all eyes are going to be on that practice field a little later this afternoon and seeing whether Lamar's out there.
Why is it that on some of the national shows, some of the national reporters, it's even coming up at all that could things have gotten stale with John Harbaugh over time?
Well, I think that when you're 1-5, this is a conversation that's going to come up. And let's not forget, guys, in 2018, they were 4-5. They had missed the playoffs, I think, 4 straight years. And Joe Flacco got hurt, and Lamar replaced him. And they won. I think they won like 8 and 9, and they won the division. Harbaugh was getting fired that year.
Yep.
If that doesn't happen. And then they've gone on this Lamar ride where they're very successful in the regular season, but not in the postseason. But John Harbaugh was about to get fired in 2018, if not for Lamar Jackson.
I thought I remembered, if I'm not mistaken, like one of the big conversations. Didn't you lose here? And it was like, you lost to the Browns, and the Browns are bad. They didn't win a game last year. Like all of a sudden, it was like, well, maybe that's it for John Harbaugh. I got to tell you though, it does seem like a wild season. Maybe everybody just needs to calm down a second there, Ken, and take it all into effect. Like there's a lot going on, a lot of injuries. But, man, the pressure of getting to the postseason and then not even be able to get it to the postseason, we're finding some things out about some guys out there, man.
Yeah, and also, and I say this facetiously just to joke with you guys, but the standard's different here than in Cleveland. Like you did, this was a Super Bowl or bust season, even though Harbaugh didn't want to hear that preseason. But we heard all offseason, this is the best roster in the NFL, and this team's loaded, and this is the year they get over the hump. And they're 1-5, so like the standard is different, and I think that's why you have a lot of people in full panic mode.
Ken Wyman, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore as the Ravens get set to host the Chicago Bears at 1 o'clock on Sunday. We now go to the river, Cincinnati, as the Bengals get ready to host the Jets at 1 p.m. on Sunday. James Rapine locked on Bengals. Does Joe Flacco got the fans feeling like the playoffs are a possibility again, James?
No doubt. No doubt. With the way he played against Pittsburgh and in the second half against Green Bay, I certainly think that fans believe that Joe Flacco can do enough to keep them afloat, or who knows, maybe make them a winning team, especially based on the schedule this weekend with a Jets team that they should, I'm not saying they will, but they certainly should beat them.
James, where do your trash fans get off chanting, making a mockery of the Cleveland Browns as if it was 1989 and Sam Wyche all over again? How do you pull a stunt like that on national television?
When Joe Flacco pulls that kind of stunt on national TV against the Steelers, I think fans are pretty fired up. So, look, I thought last week was really interesting with the Mike Tomlin comments, and then obviously Joe Flacco goes out there and plays the way he does. They don't win that game with Jake Browning. I think we all know that. And so fans certainly were excited that they had another Joe in town to help win that game.
So after the game, Joe Flacco admits he barely knew the plays. You saw the one botched play turn into like an RPO and a nice run for a first down. Does what he said after the game kind of invalidate your head coach and offensive guru altogether when he's basically admitting, yeah, I just did my own thing out there and it worked?
No, that clip got a lot of run and it's gotten attention for sure. But Joe's also talked about how great Zach has been throughout this process and helping him learn
for like 4 days
the ins and outs of the offense. Hey, I just 9 days. 9 days. 2 games in 9 days is wild. Everyone talks about like, oh well, you traded for him 5 days ago, you got to play Green Bay, and then you have a division rival coming in 4 days later. So
wait, is Flacco saying that Zach Taylor is more of an offensive genius than Kevin Stefanski? Is that what he's saying, James?
You think Joe would say that? Come on, Anthony. You're not going to get me.
Are you trying to say it?
Just say it.
I'm not sure. I'm not trying to say it. What I'm trying to say is that the Bengals' offensive weapons are better than anything that you guys got up there. And so you need someone that can get them the ball. And when that happens, good things obviously happen.
Is Zach Taylor the luckiest coach in the history of professional football where none of us seem to respect his acumen, and he was in a Super Bowl for crying out loud and is always able to save his job, where if he were in another franchise, he would have already been fired, but he happens to be the coach of the cheapest franchise in maybe professional sports?
You know what I think? Since these two teams like to make trades, if Kevin Stefanski doesn't survive, maybe we need to send Zach Taylor up there. It sounds like you guys like Zach Taylor a bit.
No.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you like how he handles young quarterbacks, how he can get them ready to go for games in a pinch. It sounds like you guys are big Zach Taylor.
I'd rather you coach him.
That's saying something, right?
Yeah, it's saying a lot. This is bad. What do you think about radio show hosts who say they're going to get their nipples pierced if their team loses a regular season football game?
I did not see this.
Well, not even on your radar.
You didn't see this?
I did not.
I guess this didn't get the buzz that one sports talk radio show host was looking for.
Well, that's James Rapine, locked on Bengals and SI as the Bengals get ready to host the Jets at 1 o'clock on Sunday. We now go to Pittsburgh at 93.7 The Fans. Andrew Filipponi as they get set to host the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is his old team on Sunday Night Football. Andrew, first question, why are you stupid?
Mitch didn't give you guys the memo.
What?
You now have to introduce me as Marconi Award-winning Andrew Filipponi.
I'm not introducing you as that.
I did. I won one. It's basically the Oscars of radio for people that don't know.
And in your
Emmy award.
So if I offer to get my nipples pierced, I'm going to win a Marconi. Is that it?
Did you have to pay for the submissions yourself?
How many times has Ken won Pulse of Cleveland talk show host of the year? Is that 6 or 7 years running now?
34 times.
Hey, so every time I jump on your show, well, I just go as Jim in Ohio, so it doesn't matter. But never mind, because I go under a false pretense there. Are you really going to get your nipples pierced?
Yes.
You're an idiot.
Actually, Ken, it's going to raise thousands of dollars for the fight against breast cancer.
You could just raise thousands of dollars for the fight against breast cancer without making stupid declarations on your internet and on your show.
Wrong, because this is the first event I've done for breast cancer awareness, and
you could have done other events for breast cancer awareness.
Right. Okay, Ken, once in a while you make a sacrifice to actually get something done, and I'm willing to do that. So I don't know how that's stupid.
Oh, so you would have done it. So you would have done this anyway had the Steelers had won?
I mean, if somebody told me, "Hey, we're going to raise,"
he would not have raised money for breast cancer awareness.
No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. See, that's why you. That's why the Marconi is obviously a farce, because you don't think enough ahead. See, that's what working with Tone has done for me over the last 14 years. I just dunk on clowns like you every single day. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah. Call the ticket in Detroit a joke station. They won a Marconi.
I didn't call them. I called you a joke. I didn't even call the fan in Pittsburgh a joke.
Personality of the year.
I didn't call Colin Cowherd a joke. I called you a joke. Joke.
Wow. All right. Well, let me know when you win one, Ken.
I probably won't, but that's okay. I don't have my nipples pierced either.
By the way, Lima, Ken, are you going to start loading up on Penn State gear, Ken? Are you going to do it?
Did you hear something?
You're going to wear it for Matthew Campbell coming to Happy Valley, baby. Woo!
News to me.
Do you have a source?
Audrey Snyder, independent reporter, State College. Look it up.
Mitch, get on that. Meanwhile, the Steelers.
Gotta hear Audrey Meadows.
Taking on the Packers coming up.
Work with Delaney Doss.
Sunday night on NBC. Size it up. Pony, is this going to be ultimate revenge game?
No, probably not. I don't know why it would. The Steelers gave up 9.8 yards per carry to Chase Brown. Year-old quarterback threw for 342, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And Jamar Chase caught 16 balls against this defense. So why would they stop the Packers?
Kind of a gloomy outlook there in Pittsburgh.
You guys disagree with any of that? Spot the lies in that statement.
Why would you
All those
say
things happen.
That? I just keep going back to your stupid guarantee that you made then.
Yeah,
I'm
Pony,
sorry.
we see some bizarre outcomes and situations on Thursday nights.
Ken, didn't you say the Browns were guaranteed to win a game in Denver a few years ago, or did I make that up?
Yeah, and I didn't say I was going to get a Prince Albert if they lost. I just lost my mind. I just got mad.
I don't even know what a Prince Albert is.
I just got mad. You can look it up on your own thing. On your own time. You can look it up on your own internet. I'm at work right now. Ask more questions. Ask stupid questions.
Well, I was just saying, Pony, that Thursday nights, how much can you really go all in on those random games, on short rest and all of that? Or is this something that's definitely concerning?
I mean, it's unbelievably concerning because it's not one game, guys. They're 31st in the league in pass defense.
Oof.
They're 17th in points allowed.
I thought Juan Thornhill would help.
No, you didn't. I think we texted after he signed, and either you or Nick Wilson said he's all bark, no bite. Guy can't play. Talks a lot, can't play a lick.
Pony, why?
I think I've said it. I think he's done more social media videos than made tackles.
Right.
Pony, why is Devin Bush having a career resurgence in Cleveland?
He is.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say so.
I didn't see that in the game here 2 weeks ago.
Well, I don't care. Well,
By the
you
way,
only watch
what was
one
Myles
game.
Garrett's stat line in that game?
I don't know. So you only watch one game a year? That's it? You're a Marconi Award winner? Boy, you really cover the NFL well.
Give me the big play, Devin Bush.
No, that's why 2/3 of the great Syracuse Triumvirate is hosting Mulligan Soup on major network television.
Actually, it's the award-winning First Things First.
That's right.
They've won Emmys.
Lima, I've won Emmys too. You don't hear me bragging about it.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. I never bring it up to you. You didn't even know until I just told you.
What did you win an Emmy for?
Sports.
Pony, who are the... Pony,
ridiculous.
Pony, if you could.
Ridiculous.
We know you have a lot of friends in high places, but what about enemies? Could you power rank the bottom 3 guys at Syracuse that are making waves? Who do you hate?
Siciliano's on my list right now.
Boom! Whoa!
Boom!
Whoa!
I asked him, he answered.
I can't say that.
Yeah, I just did.
Come on. I dumped that. I'm dumping it. Don't say that. Don't do that. Don't be an
Why?
ass. Don't be an ass.
Oh, so now I'm not supposed to answer questions honestly?
Don't be
when Lima
like,
gives
no,
it
you
to me?
could have, nah, you'd be, have some class about you. Don't do that. He's a
The
nice
first
guy.
question-
Don't do
the
that.
first question you asked me was, are you stupid? So I thought the gloves were
Yeah,
kind of
because I'm
off in this
talking to
segment.
you. I wasn't talking to him. I was talking to you. You can
Well,
say
that's
whatever
the
you
way-
want to about me. Don't be going after people who can't defend themselves on the radio right now.
What do you mean? He can obviously call in, and we're in the same club, and he has my number.
No, he's not going to call in. I don't know where he's at right now, but I'm not going to put the bat signal out there to defend a goofball like you who's getting his nipples pierced because you thought that the Steelers were going to be able to beat the Bengals on the road on
All
Thursday
you
night.
Syracuse guys got along. This is shocking.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Cheap.
What
That's
do you mean?
cheap.
We can talk honestly about each other. That's what part of being in the club is all about.
You and I can talk honestly about each other. I don't know what you know about Andrew or not from Syracuse.
What do you think of Jastrzemski?
Well, wait a minute. Time out here. I mean, Lima obviously knows. That's why Lima asked the question. I'm going to be brutally honest about my.
But you took it that you know that was cheap. Don't do that.
You don't think guys have taken cheap shots at me? How about Jason Lloyd?
I don't.
How about Action Jackson?
I
you
don't
think
need-
those guys? One guy called me a douchebag.
and I have told them to. Well, they said it directly to you. You could have defended yourself.
No, they
don't-
didn't.
Yes,
They
they
told you
did.
that.
He
He
called
didn't
you an
text me or call
he
me.
called you an absolute dip bleep right to you on the internet. You could have done anything you wanted to. You didn't. Andrew's not here to defend himself, and I'm not going to get into it with you because that's stupid.
Yeah, well, they don't pay me to argue with people on Twitter.
Okay, Stephen A.
What do you think of Adam Zucker?
Adam Zucker's a Syracuse guy?
Did you Did you get your Marconi just by ripping off Stephen A. Smith? No
that?
answer.
I didn't hear that one.
Yes,
You
you
cut
did.
out.
What do you think about Jason Horowitz?
Voice of the Raiders.
Is he really?
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was not nice to me in person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
we have something to break down later.
As opposed to Adam Shine, who's a big fan of our show.
I've had two. Adam Shine's actually really nice.
By the way,
Honestly.
Lima, have you noticed Ken is deflected? He never answered the question. If
What
Matt
was the
Campbell
question?
gets the Penn State job, will you wear Penn State stuff?
Of course. Why wouldn't I?
Wow.
Not
Okay.
the throwback stuff.
Why
Only
wouldn't
the
I?
new stuff.
Jeez. Okay.
Why wouldn't I?
We're just piling on Ohio State. You hated them on the air for 15 years. Now you're gonna wear Penn State
I don't hate Ohio State. I hate Ohio State.
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
I just heard you say it.
No, that was a doctored clip.
By who? AI?
No,
That's what people say
by
now when
our
they-
former producer, a great
when they're
man,
outed.
Kenny Kidd.
What is he up to these days?
I don't know. He's still wearing the leather vest, from what I know. Get him off the air. Get him off the air. I'm done.
What did you win an Emmy for?
He's still on.
Sports. I have. I've won them, okay? I got 3 of them. Sounded ridiculous. I do have a girlfriend, okay? She lives in Canada, all right? Like, that's what that sounded like.
What did you win an Emmy for?
Sports.
Doing the sports.
What'd you win an Italian American?
Say it. You ought to say that. I don't care if it's you. You ain't ought to say that.
Hey, paisanos!
Had to be a certain diameter
No! Shut up!
to be even.
Shut up! Stop it!
Well,
Stop
you dumped
now!
the other saying, so now the innuendo is even
all
worse
the
than what the actual
Oh God!
truth was.
Oh God! All right.
You guys heard of Jeff Thomas?
Yeah, he's coming up next. The Pink Tornado on the
Silver
fan.
Sourward winner.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
Odyssey.com. Sign up to be a part of the fan club. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 92.3 The Fan to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 92.3thefan.com.
Cavs brought to you by Surfside. Cavs Report brought to you by Surfside. Surfside. We've been talking about Surfside.
Yeah, we've talked about them all day. You haven't said the Surfside Cavs Report brought to you by Surfside.
Do the pressure. Sorry.
Don't talk over
The Cavaliers Report brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside.
Surfside Cavs Report.
Pony's bitching at me on the phone right now.
Why?
Because of what no, I don't need to give it any more air. Even though I just brought it up. So who am I? I dumped him.
For?
Sports. I dumped him. And now he's all mad. And now he's saying, well, you can make fun. I go, I wouldn't make fun of anything. Take that up with Tone. Talk. Why Texas nut?
So the
nut
Knicks,
job.
we know tonight the Knicks are going to be without Mitchell Robinson as well as Josh Hart. So it messes up their lineup big time. You're going to go with Brunson, Mikal Bridges. Anunoby's been day to day. He's got to play now. So
yeah, they're out of players, right?
Yeah, but they are going to be very slight inside. So this should be a game that Evan Mobley should have a field day.
Oh, it's funny you say that. Tim Leggler was on at 8:20. He talked about Evan Mobley and the steps he needs to take this season.
Well, I think it's going to continue to be increased volume in terms of his importance in the offense. Look, I don't know if Evan Mobley's ever going to be a guy that's going to develop this escapability with his handle so that he can go get a shot anytime he wants in a one-on-one situation, because that tier of player that we're talking about, those are the guys that are first-team All-NBA guys. Those are the guys that are competing for MVPs. I don't know that Evan Mobley still has that much to grab offensively, but I do think the things that he does do well offensively, I still think there's a level of aggressiveness. And you've already seen an uptick, but I think there's another level for him. If he does that and the Cavs have the same level of regular season success, now you're talking about a guy who's then going to be pushing for, first team All-League, second team All-League, like one of those type of guys. So, I'm excited to see what's the next leap look like for Evan Mobley this season.
I got to ask you, is it finals or bust for the Cavs? I want to ask everybody else. 216-474-0092. Do you feel like it's finals or bust? What? And I kind of want to know what bust looks like. What's it look like? Is it firing the coach? You've already done that. You've already tried that. Is it just letting go of or just trading away Jared Allen? What's that? What's the matter? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I think bust to me is you got to break up this core finally.
Jared Allen is, to me, not breaking up the core.
No, I agree with you.
Okay. So I wasn't responding. I was like being like in the conversation. Sorry. Plus, I got Pony texting my ass off. Judas, look at him. He's sending me a book. We're doing it. Someone tell Pony.
Yeah, we're doing a show.
I did not text girlfriends I slept with years ago this much back in the day. Like, what is this? I gotta be careful. I don't hold the phone. I don't want people to see these. He's pissed at me. He's mad. Oh, whatever. He'll get over it. Hell with him. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
We were talking about whether Evan Mobley, this is the fifth straight year we've kind of heard similar things, or I should say fourth straight offseason, that Evan is working on all that stuff, his handles. He's going to have the ball in his hands more. And then when all was said and done last year, even though I thought that he'd have an advantage, a big-time one against Indiana last year, he still, in the elimination game, he took the third most shots. Darius Garland on one leg was still taking more shots.
Defensive player of the year is not good enough for him, right? Moving forward.
Well,
I understand. He's won it, right? But he's got to do more than that now, right? That's the or bust type of stuff to me, because you can't just go, well, we've got to progress to this round of the playoffs. They've been just getting to the second round of the playoffs, and that's not enough. I think you got to look at individual players now.
216-474-0092. Is it finals or bust to you? And if it's bust, or what does bust look like? What is it? I think Owen hits on something there. Again, but I think it's the same conversation we've had, and all that's easier said than done. you want to get rid of because what will happen is, and I was wrong at the beginning of the show. I had said, it's not as much on Darius. No, they're gonna point their fingers at Darius. Hell, they wanted to point their fingers at Darius at the end of the season. He was clearly injured.
Yep,
running around in the sideshow Bob shoes, trying to make sure he could keep himself up, and he was losing his dribble for crying out loud in the bigger shoes. You remember that?
Yeah, he's a completely different player. He couldn't stand up. He kept falling down.
And he is a slight fella. He is not a big size. He is often injured. These are things I don't know if he can help, truly. But you took him, and he's a fantastic ball player. But is he a part of the future? Well, again, he might have to be, because I don't know what I'm going to trade him for if it does come down to that. I do agree with Owen. I think if you don't get to the finals this year, people are going to want serious changes to this core four, and it can't just be Jared Allen. Owen and I are in lockstep on that. Now, will I want that? I'm not sure. I might just have to accept their fate and tell people the bad news. Jared Allen is a tradable commodity. Absolutely. I don't know what you can trade Darius Garland for and say you are closer to the NBA Finals. In seriousness. Unless you make him a part of a package deal and work 3-team trades and things like that. So you might just have to accept who you are at the end of this year. So the stuff that Jared Allen himself had said, even though I just got done talking about the possible trade of him, what he had said, where I read the Jeff Shadell article, because Shadell covers all the sports in town, not just the Browns, and we love Shadell. When Shadell had written that, Jared Allen says he's trying the Cavaliers are trying to get rid of the soft label that they have. Well, you better, because that's the only way you're going to get through these, because I think you look at it as good as anybody else. When we had Tim Leggler on, he said it. LeBron had talked about the pressure that's on them on the Mind the Game podcast, on the Cavaliers, not about the Lakers. He was talking about the Cavs when he said it. Boston is not the same team. Jason Tatum is hurt. Indiana is not the same team. They lost a piece. They also lost Tyrese Halliburton for most of the year, even though he looked pretty good when he was up there on Big Noon Kickoff.
Yeah, but he's out. Turner's out. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got Miles Turner away. Like, you have an opportunity here. It's just such a long regular season. Now, if God forbid, if something terrible happens, we'll have to reevaluate that. But I hope it doesn't happen, but obviously we will. But if you get to this point where, we get to the second round again and there's a problem again, I just don't think your own fans are going to take you that seriously.
Well, there's just one other aspect of this I don't hear anybody really saying, and I'm curious if we've all come to this agreement, even if it's unspoken, on Donovan Mitchell. Has he maxed out his talent, or can he get better? Donovan. Is this is his 9th year. He's going into his 9th year. He's turning 30. Actually, no. He's 29. He just turned 29. So is this the best he could be? Have we seen the best of Donovan Mitchell, and that's why we're talking about Evan so much?
When you say we've seen the best of Donovan Mitchell, we're talking. It makes it sound like we're going to start to go downhill.
Is he going to add to his game? Is there any adding?
I don't think so.
Is he going to become any more efficient?
I don't think so.
Is he going to perfect his game, or has he already done that?
I don't think so.
And now the question is, how long can he maintain it?
I don't think so. No. I think that I think he is what he is. What he is a fabulous ball player and an all-NBA first, second, third team guy, and obviously a NBA All-Star. He's a fantastic player. Donovan Mitchell is one of the best in the league. But I don't know if there's any extra gear after this. Like, you kind of are what you are. There are physical limitations. LeBron is 6'8". LeBron's an animal. LeBron's a 101. Now, you are maybe part of the 1%, but you are not in that category. Since you're not in that category, I don't. And should I expect any more growth out of him? Hasn't Donovan Mitchell done everything he can?
Oh, he definitely has.
I don't want to be taken the wrong way, because people, these clips go out and people take them the wrong way. Donovan Mitchell's done so much for the franchise. I don't need to ask any more of Donovan Mitchell. He's done enough. I need to ask more of Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley can do a hell of a lot more. Darius Garland could do more. Jared Allen could do more. If we're going to start talking tough about guys, those guys can do more. Donovan has left it all out on the floor. I don't need any more of what I've got from Donovan Mitchell. He's maximized his talents. He's maximized his ability. He has maximized his leadership as best he could. It's the other three of the core four that are going to have to step up their game. Jarrett can take it to another level. Evan can definitely take it to another level. And I think there's another level, maybe not, but there has to be, of Darius Garland.
Well, I only asked a question about Donovan because last year they trimmed his minutes down to 31 a game. Remember, part of that was they blew out so many teams. They didn't need him. in the fourth quarter. So many of the games, especially at home, were laughers. So they didn't need to play him. And the thought was, well, come playoff time, he's going to be as fresh as humanly possible, and he's going to be able to help put this team on his back for maybe, hopefully, 3 to 4 rounds. But then what did we see? He, while still authoring amazing postseason performances, especially because he was getting to the free throw line to make up for the nights that he wasn't getting to the basket or the efficiency wasn't there, he had another, calf strain.
Yeah,
he was exhausted after every game.
Game 2 against Indiana, he was laying on guys coming down the court. That's when they blew that lead and ended up giving it up.
They couldn't get the ball. Yeah. They couldn't get the ball past half court.
Across the mid-court line. It was bad. It was really bad, and I do think they got to work on his minutes this year because that was not. Do you think it was anything due to his lack of minutes in the regular season, though? Like, I don't know if that was age or lack of minutes.
It just didn't seem like the regular season preserving him did really much for him in the postseason.
Tone, you're about to be annoyed. 216-474-0092. Is it finals or bust for this Cavs basketball team? And I think I'm about to annoy Lima. I think we're all about to annoy Lima very, very harshly coming up in 5 minutes, coming up at 9:43 on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carman.
rookie quarterback, a rookie running back, rookie tight end, rookie receivers. There are tackle problems. So they're not expecting him to take necessarily this roster to the Super Bowl this year.
Listen for Mary Kay Cabot from the Plain Dealer in Cleveland.com. Tuesday mornings at 11 on Cleveland's Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Before we get back to the Cavs, what would Garrett Wilson cost? What would Jets wide receiver, former Buckeye wide receiver Garrett Wilson cost the Browns?
I assume they'd be starting with asking for a first.
Okay, no.
Right.
No. Not going to do that.
What would they ask for next? A second?
Well, we could think about that. Yeah, maybe.
And then a third?
No, they probably want a second and something, right?
All right, second and fifth. It's $20 million. Make a draft Carnell Tate.
I guess his contract, the way it's broken down,
32 other teams could draft him too, but 31. But you get what I'm saying.
There's not a huge hit for the Browns for next year. It comes later, so then that comes after the Deshaun Watson pain is over.
Can you do a second and a fourth?
So then it makes a little more sense on the Cavs' point of view.
Okay, just asking.
Well, he's still on a rookie deal, right?
Garrett Wilson is.
No, he had signed an extension.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, this is the first year I think of his
Last
deal.
year,
I think it was going to be like
off-season.
the Jerry Jeudy thing where you trade for less, but then you've got to do the re-sign.
So his dead cap hit is 41 this year, but we're halfway through the year. 34 next year. Well, I mean, if it's $34 million, they're gonna want a lot for Garrett Wilson. I mean, you're 0-7, so you're already in a rebuild, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. One, there are plenty of teams. I mean, I imagine there'd be a pretty sizable market for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with that contract, I don't think that contract is something that teams be like, whoa, we want to stay away from, especially if they're looking to get good instantly.
He's really, really good, though. He's got 4 touchdowns already this year. 11th in the league. That's pretty damn good. And they had nobody throw. I mean, they can't throw a pass, let alone get the ball to him. So I'm sure he's frustrated. Now, he's listed as questionable going into this week. We'll see. I mean, they're a weird team, the Cleveland Browns, because you're selling off all these guys. You have an opportunity to bring somebody else in. Nothing has told you that they are going one direction or the other. Now, the only thing we can do is squabble over it. Are they going to go tank it out, quote unquote? Are they going to go for the gusto? Do they have what it takes to go for the gusto?
I know
they wouldn't go. They can't go for the gusto. They're not talented enough, but they don't have what it takes to bring in all those pieces. Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, like, we are a team that most people don't think are really going to be heading to the playoffs. So this would be more of a next year move and whatever. But you know, I've seen teams like the Steelers have been brought up, desperately looking for a wide receiver. So when you have teams that do think they're going to the playoffs, looking for that wide receiver, you wonder, what's the level of desperation? Are you going to be able to match what other teams, are going to be able to give up too? I don't know.
216-474-0092. Okay, is it finals or bust for the Cleveland Cavaliers? And if it's bust, what does bust look like? We only got, again, you start talking Garrett Wilson, they'll jump in. There's still not a lot in the Cavs. I don't think people look at it, and maybe it's because it's still October, even though they've started the season on October for well over a decade now.
Yeah.
Is it, I'm not catching much fear this year. I'm not catching much at all this morning. We've talked a lot of Cavs today, and I'm just not catching the oomph that we've had in some other years with the Cavaliers on opening night or anything like that.
And first 2 games on the road, so
That's
you don't
true.
start till Sunday.
Yeah, which we've been giving away tickets to the home opener. You don't start at home until Sunday, like you said. Man, I think you're going to be a frustrated person this year. I think we'll both be frustrated at that level because I can't just keep talking about rookie quarterbacks. Can I? Guys, I don't want to.
Well, it all depends
I don't really want to.
On how they operate.
Which ones? The Browns or the Cavs?
The Browns, yeah. I mean, the Cavs are going to be good.
Yeah,
they're going to look good. I expect them to look good tonight, especially against a depleted Knicks roster. Like, I think they'll look really good at MSG.
Yeah.
And then immediately the talking heads will be, hey, should we be taking the Cavs more seriously?
I mean, they put on a good show. It's worth to go see them. I told you, my cousin's got season tickets. Jimmy loves them. The kids love them. Like, it's a huge thing. But your issue that you have with your fan base is that I think that people will go. I think that they'll watch. The fever for them is not going to happen until the postseason. Well, we are a ways away from the postseason right now. So I don't think you're going to get much one way or unless they lose a bunch of games in a row, and nobody wants that. Unless there's an injury, nobody wants that. Like the season's set up for negative, the regular season anyway, is set up for negative reaction. Unless they go on another big win streak, and then I could ask, okay, what's different about this? It comes off negative, but I just want to ask, what's different about this team that makes you think that they can do it this year instead of last year or the year before? Because they had a winning streak. Didn't they win 10 or 11 in a row the year before?
Yeah.
They won 15 in a row. They won 17 in a row. Like, there's long winning streaks in there. But the season, because of what happened these last 2 years, it's kind of set up to go the wrong. It's kind of set up to have the bad reaction that we don't want for the team. Folk in Cleveland, you're first up in the fan. Yellow. Folk. I told you.
So he also brought up, though,
what I tell you,
what kind of fervor. Like the Cavs are playing in some premier games.
I got all Browns.
They're playing
people
Oklahoma
here.
City on MLK Day. They're playing the Knicks on Christmas Day.
We'll have reaction on Christmas.
Yeah, their group looks good to be able to move on in their cup. Which people are still trying to figure out.
When do we get Darius Garland? I don't care about the Cavs until Darius Garland comes back and I can see.
Yeah, but what if they look
the offense?
What if they look really good? What if they look really good before Darius comes back?
It doesn't matter. They're going to play him.
You don't think he'd be an additive?
I don't believe in the guy. I don't believe in him I've seen him in the playoffs the last 2 years. I don't care that he wore a walking boot during the games or whatever it was last year. I was ready to trade him for Jimmy Butler last year before the trade deadline. Like, until he proves it in the playoffs and actually proves it, and not against the 10 seed Miami team that had 32 wins or something. I'm not gonna. There's not anything he's gonna do to change that.
Well, then, Owen, you and I are going to be very frustrated with each other because I'm going to keep asking you when he does play, what's changed, and you're going to keep saying the same thing, and I'm going to feel like I'm talking to a brick wall.
Yep.
Just so we know that we're going to not like each other here talking about the Cavs, buddy.
Well, it wouldn't be the first.
But it seems to be
it won't be the last.
I feel like there should be more of a crossover here than we're allowing. Meaning, like if we all think the Browns aren't really playing for anything, aren't going to make the playoffs, and we all think the Cavs are really good, why would we? What are we going to just not follow anything until April? Like that seems silly.
I think you can have fun in individual games, but it's not going to change.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not going to change my overall feeling on the team.
I mean, come January and February,
I did that last year.
It's going to be pretty miserable outside, and the Cavs are going to be this welcoming, warm, amazingly raucous arena that is going to be where a lot of winds go down. Like, seems like that's
clouds will be.
That'll be on the outside. Those storm clouds they're going to be gloomy.
Oh my God.
At that time, they look beautiful yesterday.
We will have a strong reaction to this opening night game coming up tomorrow morning. Also, Mary Kay tomorrow morning 8:20. How far along is you know who? Can Dylan Gabriel convince anybody that he could be a franchise quarterback for this football team? Did Lance feel that way? Did Coach Lance feel that way he can be?
I think he still feels really, really good about things with Dylan Gabriel.
You know who's a big Dylan Gabriel fan? Terry Bradshaw. Saw that comment. Terry's a big Dylan Gabriel fan. Thanks to Tim Leggler, who joined us on the show. Big thanks to him. Go listen to that interview, 923thefan.com. We're back tomorrow, 6 to 10. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Go Cavs.
Clouds were awesome.
No, it's your job, Ken.
Hey.
Sounds good. Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show. What did you win an Emmy for?
Sports.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute, sponsored by Napa, the pros that know how to keep your business moving at full speed. I'm going